Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The World Series, Game 1, the Cardinals and the Brewers. And that little taste of our NBC Sports production brilliance. You saw the history of this century in baseball and U.S. history in a matter of a minute and 40 seconds. We'll be sharing more high moments for you first of the series. I'm 47 and a rookie in the World Series. After 15 years in baseball, I'm excited to get to my first one, as many of the players are. But the veterans are up in the booth. Both played on winning World Series team. Ironically, one is from St. Louis and one grew up in Milwaukee. Let's go now to Tony Kubek, Joe Garagiola.
Okay, Dick, thank you very much. Tony, I think the oversimplification in this series is to talk about the power of Milwaukee, the speed of the Cardinals, but I don't think you can overlook the defense of Milwaukee nor their speed. I think a big over would be to take a look at the base on balls as to what the teams do. The Cardinals can take it and turn it into a double or a triple. Milwaukee can turn it into a big inning with their power hitters.
Joe, I think aside from the pitcher's mound, more ball games are won or lost right in the middle of the diamond. And fortunately, this World Series, we've got three best double play combinations, I think, in baseball. I don't think there's any doubt that Ozzie Smith and Herr are the best. Yount and the second baseman Ganter are very good. They led the league in double plays.
Well, we're going to find out. You can do all the talking, but it happens on the field. Let's go to PA announcer Joel Myers and get introduced to him.
Let's meet the American League champions, the Milwaukee Brewers. First, the coaching staff. Larry Haney down in the bullpen. Ron Hansen. Harry Warner. Also in the bullpen, Cal McClitch. And down in the bullpen, Pat Dobson. Now the Brewers non-starters. Catcher Ned Yost. Infielder Don Money. Infielder Rob Piccolo. Pitcher Bob McClure. Infielder Ed Romero. Outfielder Marshall Edwards. Pitcher Don Sutton. Pitcher Peter Ladd. Outfielder Mark Bruhard. Pitcher Moose Haas. Pitcher Doc Medich. Pitcher Raleigh Fingers. Pitcher Jim Slayton. Pitcher Dwight Bernard. And pitcher Pete Vukovich. The Milwaukee trainers are Freddie Federico and John Adam. And the equipment manager is Bob Sullivan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. Leading off, number 4, third baseman Paul Molitor. Batting second, number 19, shortstop Robin Yount. Hitting third, number 15, first baseman Cecil Cooper. Batting cleanup, number 23, catcher Ted Simmons. Hitting fifth, number 24, left fielder Ben Ogilvie. Batting sixth, number 20, center fielder Gorman Thomas. Hitting seventh, number 13, designated hitter Roy Howell. Batting eighth, number 22, right fielder Charlie Moore. And hitting ninth, number 17, second baseman Jim Gantner. And in the bullpen, the starting pitcher, number 48, Mike Caldwell. And the manager of the American League champions, Harvey Keene. Introducing the National League champions, the St. Louis Cardinals. First, the coaching staff: Red Shandings, Dave Ricketts, Chuck Hiller, Hal Lanier, and down in the bullpen, Hug Kittle. Now the Redbirds non-starters, infielder Mike Ramsey. In the bullpen, catcher Glenn Brummer. Infielder Julio Gonzalez. Outfielder Dane Orge. Outfielder Steve Braun. Pitcher Jeff Lottie. Pitcher John Martin. Pitcher Jim Cotts. Pitcher Steve Mura. Pitcher Dave LaPointe. Pitcher Doug Bear. Pitcher Bruce Sutter. Pitcher Joaquin Andujar. Pitcher John Stuper. And outfielder Willie McGee. The St. Louis trainers are Gene Gieselman and trainer emeritus Bob Bowman, and the equipment manager is Butch Yackaman. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals. Leading off for the Redbirds, number 28, second baseman Tom Herr. Batting second, number 27, outfielder Lonnie Smith. Hitting third, number 37, first baseman Keith Hernandez. Batting cleanup, number 25, right fielder George Hendrick. Hitting fifth, number 18, designated hitter Gene Tennis. Batting sixth, the most valuable player in the National League Championship Series, number 15, catcher Darrell Porter. Hitting number 22, center fielder David Green. Batting eighth, number 10, third baseman Ken Oberkfell. And hitting ninth, number 1, shortstop Ozzie Smith. And down in the bullpen, warming up for the Redbirds, number 31, Bob Forsch. And the manager of the National League champions, Whitey Herzog. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise as we honor America with our national anthem, which tonight will be sung by popular recording star Lou Rawls.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed
Introducing a totally new Ford LTD. Reshaped. Refined. Redesigned. Inch by aerodynamic inch. From the ground up. LTD.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Here's too good.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Jim.
Hey, what's up?
The view.
Well, I thought it was about time I paid you back.
Let's see something.
Paid us back? I pay us back for what? Last Sunday when the Palmers dropped in, you loaned me some beer.
Well, Jim, that was beer. This is Lowenbrow.
Let's call it interest.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
You know, Jim, I've been thinking. Maybe you ought to borrow things more often.
I've got an unfair advantage over these guys. My looks? Are you kidding? I've got the Gillette Atra. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra's better than twin-blade razors that don't pivot. See, they don't always stay on my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. I get a better shave. See? Close. Comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
So who said life was fair?
Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major Ball.
This evening from St. Louis, NBC Sports presents Game 1 of the 1982 World Series. The American League champions, the Milwaukee Brewers, against the National League champions, St. Louis Cardinals. Brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Driven a Ford lately? By Lowenbrow. When you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow. By Gillette Atra Razor, the twin blade that pivots for a close, comfortable shave. And by Seiko and your authorized Seiko dealers. A beautiful night here in St. Louis and a capacity crowd here for Game 1. And there he is, the chairman of the board, August A. Busch Jr. Along with the commissioner, he threw out the first ball to get it started. And we have a baseball game. Forsch against Caldwell.
Here are the stats on Bob Forsch. He will not walk many. He will not strike out many. Pinpoint control. Good slider, curve, and as some of the scouts who scouted him, the Milwaukee Brewers said, he had about the liveliest fastball they'd seen him in 5 appearances against Atlanta. You have to hit your way on, and when you've got a defense behind you, Smith, and her up the middle of the diamond, well, they are rally stoppers.
They've got great speed in that outfield. You'll really see some jackrabbits. So Paul Molitor leads it off for Milwaukee. 1982, he had 19 home runs, 71 runs batted in, hit .302.
And Oberg foul at third base already up close because Molly will bunt.
First pitch of the World Series, 1982 style, foul ball out of play.
If you had to the Milwaukee Brewers, you would probably say they are not a wild swinging bunch, but they don't take a lot of pitches. They are a fastball hitting club. Forsch will challenge him as often as he can with his breaking stuff. He's got a good slider and a good curve.
Fastball misses. It's 1-1. Tony, when you talk about a free swinging ball club, they didn't strike out as much as the Cardinals, who are slap hitters.
Surprising.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Molitor, born in St. Paul, Minnesota, lives in Miquon, Michigan, or Wisconsin rather, with his wife Linda. Down the right field line, that's going to be out of play.
It has been said by almost every American League club that has played the Brewers all year long, if you can keep Molitor and Yount off the bases, you can beat this ball club. And what Baltimore did at the end of the season, 3 of those 4 ball games anyway, first 3 of Baltimore, they kept these 2 off. But they didn't handle Yount especially. 162.
Bouncing ball. He played. 1 out.
Brewers coaches at first base, number 18, Ron Hansen, and over at third base, number 36.
Here is Robin Yount coming up, and what a tremendous year he had. 29 home runs, 114 RBIs, a .331 average. With Tony Kubek, Dick Enberg, and Tom Seaver, who'll be joining them. Joe Garagiola here in Busch Stadium, St. Louis. Game 1. There's a strike. He throws a lot of them, Bob Forsch.
I'll tell you, with his spacious outfield that Tom Seaver told you about, the youngster in center field, David Green, is playing very shallow for a man with Robin Yount's power. He could get burned.
Strike 2, breaking ball.
Here's the field. Ball carries well down the lines from the power alleys to center. It's tough to hit it out of. So how deeply Ozzie Smith was playing at shortstop. He does that for almost everyone, even fast runners.
Just missed with the fastball. There you see a shot at the defense. Ozzie Smith, the point of reference would be that line. He plays behind it, sneaking up with 2-strike count on Robin Yount. Inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out, no score, top of the first. Yount's a big guy, 6-footer, 170, born in Danville, Illinois, lives in Thousand Oaks, California. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Forsch will average 2.1 walks per 9 innings. He doesn't give out many free tickets. You have to pay your way on. Harvey Keene, what a story. Count remains at 3-2. Robin Yount, as we look at Whitey Herzog, Robin Yount and his manager have something in common. Yount, first American League shortstop since 1954 to collect 200 hits, and that man was Harvey Keene.
Power stats that Robin put on the board are just amazing. Slugging percentage, extra base hit total.
There's a base hit to left field. Robin Yount singles to left, he's on.
It'll be interesting to see if, with all the hullabaloo about the Cardinals' speed, and they do have a lot, on artificial surface in a short series, whether the Brewers run a little bit more. Yount has the capability of stealing bases, as does Molitor. Cooper has pretty good speed.
You see Cooper's average, .313, 32 home runs, 121 runs batted in. Open stance, he can pull the ball. He's got the gap between first and second to shoot for. It's ball 1. Cecil Cooper, born in Brenham, Texas. Now lives in Wisconsin.
Cooper, a good low ball hitter. Forsch, at times, if he's got his fastball, he can pitch upstairs, but basically he's got to keep his breaking stuff and fastball down.
2 balls and no strikes, and it's very rare indeed when these Milwaukee Brewers don't get a hit sign from the third base coach when they've got that pitcher crippled. 2 balls and no strikes and 3-1.
That was an interesting close-up shot, which will show you as this game progresses, of Forsch working on the baseball, something he is not supposed to do. We'll try and get it for you one more time. Chance?
He's got a quick move, Bob Forsch.
Hernandez very aggressive at getting off that bag at first base. Watch how he jumps out to protect that hole. He's probably the best in the business at that. Look at him, like a runner in the starting blocks. As soon as that ball goes home, he wants to protect that hole with Cooper, the left-hander, up.
Keeps that glove nice and low, too. Watch him, almost on the ground. Outside, 3-0. Now, Terry Warner at
third base will flash a sign. Cooper, look at those eyes, man. That's like the kid on Christmas morning. Do I get the hit 3-0? He's looking for the hit sign. That's when the manager controls it, and you pick a pitch in a particular spot. You don't just say fastball. You say low inside fastball. Walk team. Cooper is on, so base runners are at first and second. One man out brings up Ted Simmons.
Kind of reaction he gets. Hub Kittle took 54 years to get to the major leagues. Now 65. He comes out to talk to Forsch. What a marvelous job he has done, especially with the young pitching staff.
He was on the bench and somebody said, Hub, as long as it's taking you to get here, you probably want this to go 7 games. He said, no, I just as soon finish it in 4.
He pitched professionally for an inning or so when he was, what, 61 or 2? Got in for an inning, retired a few hitters.
Here is Ted Simmons, 23 home runs, 97 runs batted in, a .269 average. One man out, no score, top of the first. Missy. He's pitching like he's being very careful, like he doesn't want to get that ball into that part of the strike zone. When it hits the outside part of the plate, as we look at Yount at second and Cooper on at first, and he's falling behind the hitters, and you're playing with fire.
Joe, I would think that Forsch, primarily a breaking ball pitcher, you'd want to obviously try and get him early before he can get the feel of that pitch.
1 ball, 1 strike.
What Forsch does, especially when he gets a new ball, he will take his fingernails and dig them into the seams and try and lift the seams a little bit. He's not applying a foreign substance, but it could be construed as doctoring a baseball. He does that to try and get more bite on his breaking pitches.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
No, Joe, you must be very familiar with that, because there he is. You'll see him digging those 2 fingers into the seams and trying to lift the seams just a little bit to get that little bit of a rough edge.
Right there.
See it? Trying to almost scrape it with hard fingernails. Now that can be construed as doctoring a baseball. You're not supposed to do anything. The rule specifically says it. I've never seen it called on it. You can see aerodynamically with the seams a little bit raised and roughed up, you might get a little more bite. And he pitched like a slider, a curveball. There's a lot of spin on it.
1-2 pitch to Simmons. A foul ball. He just threw his hands up, never waved foul.
Bill Haller, the umpire at first base, waiting to make sure.
They're sending him back now.
Umpires, Lee Wyatt, home plate, National League. Bill Haller, first base. American League, John Kibler, second base. Davey Phillips, the American League, third base. Left field foul line, Satch Davidson, National League. Jim Evans down the right field foul line. Simmons, a good double play candidate. He hit in the 20 this year. This ball hard on the ground.
1-2 pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Robin Yount is on at second base. A base hit to left field. Cooper walked. And those are the base runners. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the first, no score.
And so far, we are not seeing the Forsch, who's had exceptional control over the month of September.
That's a foul ball out of play. Forsch has a unique way of coming set. Many pitchers, you'll see him standing straight up. He kind of bends at the knees, almost like he's going to sneak a ball by you. There he goes, digging the ball again. I imagine he wears out about 8 or 10 hats during the year or 2. He's always taking that hat off. Struck him out.
Like one of those sliders that started outside 5-6 inches and just came around the outside corner of the plate.
He caught the outside part of the plate and got a big out. Second out of the inning. Here is Ben Oglivie. 34 home runs, 102 runs batted in, 244. Born in Colon, Panama, Colon, resides in Mesa, Arizona.
Will be interesting to see how Benji swings the bat. He injured his ribs, League Championship Series, and then when the crowd went on the field after Game 5 in Milwaukee, he got thrown to the ground and bumped pretty badly by some fans and re-injured his ribs. It's on the right side.
Young is on at second base. Cooper's on at first. There are 2 outs, no score, top of the first. One 0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. They have really swung around. Ozzie Smith really giving him a lot of room as he's almost playing directly behind the bag. Oglivie is a good RBI man. He's averaged 89 RBIs in his last 5 seasons with the Brewers. There you see Smith coming into your picture. We'll be back. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Oglivie can go down and get the low pitch. Throw him low and inside, and he can jerk it. Earlier this season, in fact, most of his career, he was much closer to home plate. He's moved off about 6 inches to a foot. They were jamming him so much inside.
Foul ball, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And moving off the plate, Joe, that's another thing he's doing a little bit more of. He used to try and pull almost everything. He will slap the ball to left field a little bit more now.
Now, he doesn't look very big, but he's strong. He is really strong. He's listed at 6'2", 170 pounds, but he can generate a lot of power. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, no score, top of the first. Off Hernandez. Here comes Robin Yount in to score. Heading for third is Cooper. It's 1-0 Milwaukee.
Ball hit very hard, obviously, at Hernandez, and it hit that turf, and ordinarily that ball bounces up a little higher. He may have had some overspin. Ball may have gone where? Right through his legs?
Never came up.
Almost off the shin bone. Ordinarily, a ball like that will bound up. You've given him an air. You see that very infrequently with that man. He's won, I think, about 4 Gold Gloves. I think that top spin that he had on that ball when he got that top hand through, Joe, put that hook spin like you'd get in a golf hook, and it just bit into the turf and almost took his shin off.
Gorman Thomas, check swing, foul ball, strike 1. The official scorers are Dave Nightingale of the Sporting News, Jack Herman of the St. Louis Globe-Democrat, and Dick Young of the New York Post, and they have ruled it an error on Hernandez, and Milwaukee has taken a 1-0 lead. Base runners at first and third, 2 outs, and Gorman Thomas, who hit 39 home runs and drove in 112 runs, stands in there. Strike 2. Base runners. Cooper's at third. Oglivie is at first. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Keith Hernandez at first base, who doesn't make many errors, is charged with an error on a ball hit by Oglivie. Thomas with 2 strikes just tries to get that bat on that ball most of the time. And he drills one in the corner in left field. It is a foul ball. Foul ball. He almost hit that ball flat-footed, Tony.
That's what he calls his Harvey Keene stance. Gorman Thomas has always struck out a lot. When Harvey was the hitting instructor here before he became manager, he got Gorman against certain types of pitchers to hit almost flat-footed and peck away. Lonnie Smith ran a long way and came very close to catching that ball. Lonnie Smith this year has been erratic in the outfield, but he has also been a surprise to Whitey Herzog. He said, I think he played better than we ever expected. He came close to catching that ball.
Yes, he
but
did.
I really think that they will run on his throwing arm before this series is over with.
It's 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Base runners at first and third. Milwaukee leading 1-0 here in the top of the first. In the hole, Ozzie Smith knocks it down, can't make a play, and it's as Cecil Cooper scores from third on the infield hit by Gorman Thomas. He hit the ball in the hole. Oberkfell couldn't get it, and Ozzie Smith got a glove on it, but there was no play.
Ozzie does not overplay a lot of hitters. He's one of the few shortstops that plays a lot of people straight away. Look at how far he went. I can think of no other shortstop who would have touched that ball. He's remarkable. You'll see him do a lot of acrobatics before this is over. I doubt if he could have gotten over to the second base from that distance.
So it's 2-0 Milwaukee. Howell is the batter, the DH.
The people have been talking about the advantage of the speed on the artificial turf for the Cardinals, and it will be, but you've got to remember, as hard as the Milwaukee Brewers hit the ball, there are going to be a lot of those ground balls are going to go through for them also.
So at first base is Gorman Thomas. At second base, Ben Ogilvie. 2 runs are in, and the crowd was really loud to start. It's calmed down. Howell is hit by the pitch. Bases are loaded. Roy Howell hit by a pitch ball, so Bob Forsch is really having a rugged inning. 2 runs are in, bases are loaded, and Charlie Moore is the batter.
The way the Brewers are swinging, he may have tried to come inside and just move him off the plate. Roy Howell stands off the plate quite a bit and dives into the ball so he can reach the outside corner. Whitey Herzog, Red Schoendienst, bullpen starts going. Jeff Lottie begins to throw.
Bob Forsch had hit 4 batters during the regular season. Has just hit one now to load him up, and Charlie Moore with the 254 averages in there. And there's his strike. Milwaukee, after Molitor bounced out, Yount singled, Cooper walked, Simmons was called out on strikes. Error by Hernandez, a single by Thomas. Hit batsman, 2-run in. Foul ball, and bases are loaded. Charlie Moore, who has done quite a job for these Brewers in the outfield. He was born in Birmingham, Alabama, lives in Greendale, Wisconsin. He's become quite an outfielder.
So 1 through 9, there's not much rest in this Brewer team. Charlie Moore has had an off year at the bat. He's had a 300 year in the big leagues. See, he's opened up his stance a little bit and come up more on the plate.
It's popped up. Hernandez in foul territory has plenty of room. He makes the play. So that retires the side, but the error by Hernandez led in the first run. A base hit by Thomas drove in the second run. We go to the bottom of the first. It's Milwaukee 2, Cardinals coming to bat.
These families are learning about home computers. The family with the Atari home computer is learning
Spanish, German,
French,
Italian.
The other,
no foreign languages.
The Atari family is learning
3 programs teach us to program.
The other.
We've only 1.
And while the Atari family learns to play Centipede Star Raiders and soon,
E.T.
the other learned
He made a mistake.
over 1,000 programs featuring the world's most popular games, but sorry, only with Atari.
In the world of action watches, trust Seiko for advanced dual display technology even 300 beneath the sea. Trust Seiko for timepieces that display any of 6 functions with a turn of a bezel. For alarm chronographs that even measure your pulse rate. For the world's most advanced technology, people trust Seiko more than any other watch. Get the best of Seiko watches, the best of Seiko clocks, only where you see this sign.
You can open up your world and make it shine. You can do it. You can squeeze that extra something out of life. Yes, you can. You can set a goal and do it. Add your own style to it. It's your world. It's your life. It's your time. Every minute. You can do it. Every day. Yes, you can. You can grow in your own way. You can do it. And we like to know.
Visa.
Goodyear Blimp America with Captain Larry Chambers from Spring, Texas. Gives us a shot. He flies out of Houston. Tommy Herr will lead it off against Mike Caldwell.
Caldwell finished the season in a cold spell. And getting that sinker up a little bit. He actually throws 3 different kinds of sinkers, one slower than the other. In fact, one will look to you to be almost like a screwball. A hard slider, takes something off, and he calls it a slurve. Oddly enough, Joe, he's a sinker ball pitcher who this year anyway has done well on artificial surface. ERA below 3 on the turf. 3 wins and 1 loss. It has been a struggle for through September.
Well, these Cardinals will put the ball in play. Tommy Herr. Herr's a big guy for a second baseman, 6-footer, 175 pounds, born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's the first pitch, and Robin Yount has a big hop, easy throw, and there's one away. And we'll pause briefly for our station identification. This is the NBC television network.
And your World Series station, KNBC Los Angeles.
Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek, Dick Enberg, and Tom Seaver here in St. Louis, where the Brewers have jumped out to a 2-0 lead here in the top half of the first inning as Lonnie Smith steps into the batter's box. 307 average.
Ball 1. Whitey Herzog most of this season against left-handers. With Smith, Lonnie Smith in the second spot. The one time when Hendrick was hurt, he hit him 5th against left-handers.
That's a foul ball.
So I don't really think, as we look at Mauder, who will be in, even with third base back, quite a bit on this running team the Cardinals have. I don't think that the infield is going to affect the Brewers that much. But I kind of agree with Tom Seaver that in the outfield with those gaps, they do not have the running speed out there, especially with a slightly crippled Gorman Thomas in center. So they may not be able to cut those alleys down. It's the point that Tom Seaver alluded to at Dick Enberg in the pregame show.
Bouncing ball. In time. Nice play.
He's made a lot of errors this year. 32. And remember, over the past 4 or 5 years, Paul Molitor's tried him at 4 different positions. He battles this and handcuffs him. Spin off the...
That's one thing, though, Tony. He stayed in front of it. You may need a chest protector playing 162 games, but he didn't give it the old how do you do. Hernandez in the batter's box. Hernandez ended the season hitting .299. Ball 1.
This is the air that may have set up a couple of those runs. He's got
1 ball and 1 strike to count. 2 outs. Strikes.
Joe, I think before this World Series is over, there will be a lot made about the throwing arms of the two catchers, Porter and Simmons. Some say they are below average throwers. But I think you can tell everybody there's a little bit more to catching just throwing out base steals. Both very well. Carlton Fisk and Dempsey, the American League. I think Simmons handles the pitching staff as well as anybody. Move the ball around, mixing up pitches, keeping a pitcher in his rhythm. And sometimes that is more important than having that gun and throwing guys out.
Easiest way to catch is not to have runners on, and by setting them up. They're both pretty good babysitters back there. Hit 2-2 pitch. Off the handle, bouncing ball. Easy out. 1, 2, 3. 4-3 if you're scoring. So Caldwell, 3 ground balls, easy inning. We complete 1 inning of play here. It's Milwaukee 2, Cardinals nothing.
Nothing like an Egg McMuffin puts breakfast right in your hand. Take it to go or eat it nice and slow. It's the taste that's loved all over the land. With Canadian style bacon, fresh egg and cheese.
I'm an Egg McMuffin, please.
big TV picture meant a big piece of furniture. 60 ounces of breakthrough. Track 2000. See how its 25-inch picture fits in the space of a with our most advanced color technology, remote control, and 127 including cable. Color Track 2000. Finally, a breakthrough.
Well, open your eyes, RCA.
The Yankees' Willie Randolph, he does it all. Pro photographer Fred Conrad, he catches it all with his Canon AE1 program. More advanced to capture Willie's sheer grace at second base. The AE1 program. More camera to follow Willie all the way home.
Hey, can I try your Canon? Sure, it's simple.
In sun or shade, it's a snap to use. The Canon AE1 program, so advanced, it's simple and more of both.
Thursday, the Cheers gang salutes the series. Then Alex and Louie are throwing nothing but strikes. Taxi.
Milwaukee 2, Cardinals nothing, top of the second. Jim Gant it off. Bob Forsch threw 39 pitches in that first inning as opposed to Caldwell was 10. That's the kind of a thing that starts to send messages to the pitching coach and to the manager. Gantner hit 295 with 4 home runs, 43 runs batted in, takes it inside, and it's ball 1. Fastball misses. 2 balls and no strikes. Gantner, 5'11", 175, born in Eden, Wisconsin, lives in Hales Corners, Wisconsin. Charge makes the play.
Grade, formerly the property of the Brewers. This young man has exceptional talent. If you get a chance, you'll see a tremendous throwing arm. He might be just a shade slower than Willie McGee, who is just out of sight running speed. That's the man that Whitey Herzog wanted when he made the trade with the Brewers.
Here is Paul Molitor, who bounced out to the second baseman his first time up. The first pitch in a hole. Watch out, these men.
I think it's going to be interesting, Joe, as this series goes on. As fast as some of these Brewers are, we just saw Molitor. If Ozzie Smith continues to play as deeply as he did, now this is really a routinely hit ground ball, not hit too hard or too soft, but he had to go a long way to his right. He does not have an outstanding arm, but you can see the quickness in getting that ball off. And Molitor with his speed beats it out.
He really is an acrobat, the way he's able to get down and bounce back. He'll get the ball, but that's the tradition. To the hole, dig in, brace yourself, the good gun to first, and he came up short.
Here is Robin Yount. First pitch is low, and it's ball 1. Yount singled his first time up and scored, and I'll tell you, if he keeps that ball down, Yount is liable to drill one into that gap in right center field. Here's as good a breaking ball hitter as there is in baseball. Molitor at first.
Many times bust Robin up and in on the hands. More discipline over the last few years. He doesn't go after that pitch as often like that. He shattered his back.
There's a base hit, and Molitor will stop at second base as Yount hit one off the handle. Base hit. He now has 2 hits, and Milwaukee has the merry-go-round going again with only 1 out. And the middle of the lineup coming up, Cecil Cooper.
Yeah, they're picking up right where they left off against the Angels. Remember Charlie Moore's blue pit over the pitcher's head that set up the go-ahead inning? Well, they have 4 hits thus far, and all 4 have had eyes. They found all the gaps so far, and you've got to be good, but you've got to be fortunate, too.
I think Forsch made the pitch stick that he wanted to make. Up and in, the ball in his chin shape. You talked about Robin's strength a while ago. Just muscled it out the center.
1 out, and Cecil Cooper, who scored his first time up as a batter. Fastball misses. Ball 1.
This is a time when you're a pitcher that you worry about somebody really getting into one.
Cardinal bullpen jumps into action as Forsch is having his problems. Foul out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Left-hander is Jim Cott, and Lottie is the right-hander. Amazing Jim Cott.
Brewer Ball Club, Joe, has been through so much over the last week. Winning that 162nd game of the season to beat Baltimore. They lost 3 in a row. Coming back down to California.
Fly, the field fly as Smith makes the play. So there are 2 away. Big out by Forsch.
In fact, this is probably the loosest the Brewer team has been mentally, I think, for about a week and a half. They've been through a lot of pressure because of fingers being down in September. Lost a bunch of games. 9th, 10th, September without news.
The Brewers are leading right now 2-0. There are 2 outs here in the top of the second, and Simmons, who was called out on strikes his first time up, is the batter. Fastball is high, ball 1. On his second base is Paul Molitor. At first base, Robin Yount. Good speed on the bases with 2 outs. Yount will get a couple extra steps at the crack of the bat. High pop fly. And the second baseman, Harris, says out again. He does. So Forsch gets out. Milwaukee does not score. Going to the bottom of the second. Milwaukee 2, Cardinals nothing.
Willem Scott's family has been fishing for generations. But today, like most Dutch fishermen, they're worried about the coastal waters. Cleans its danger being pumped out too. That's why the people of ITT developed this optical fiber device. If there's a risk of pollution, an alarm sounds, so the pumping can be stopped, protecting Willem Scott's future and his sons.
You're watching this '83 Ford take on an incredibly tough test. Tow 10,000 pounds up a rugged trail at grades steeper than Pikes Peak to dramatize Ford's new 6.9-liter diesel. It's now available in Ford's heavy-duty pickups and 4x4s, and it's 49% more fuel efficient than Ford's similar-sized gas engine. It's the most powerful diesel ever put in a 26 horsepower. Once again, Ford tops them all. Truck built.
Here's 2 good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Well, look who's back.
Must say something.
Okay, Paul Bunyan. Let's go watch some of this burn. You always work your guests this hard. You got enough strength left to lift a lone brow?
Lone brow? I'll use 2 hands. Want to date American tonight. Let it be low and know the way hard.
But the pay is not bad.
This USBA title bout will be a brawl. Frank the Animal Fletcher takes on James Hard Rock Green. The styles hard-hitting and relentless. The impact guaranteed. Plus, Gentle Giants share their ancient traditions. On NBC Sports World, it's a World Series weekend.
2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Milwaukee. And the Cardinals in the second looking for the first base hit as they went down in order 1, 2, 3, and 3 ground balls.
Ground balls. Caldwell has the sticker down low. Problem. One of the pitching coaches for the Brewers, Pat Dobson, was saying when you hit something, he does not pitch within himself. He's starting to throw the ball a little bit harder, coming upstairs, and his fastball is straightening out.
There's the strike. George Henry. Runs, 100 runs batted in, hit 282. 1 strike. George Henry probably wears his pants lower than anybody in baseball. And I asked him about that. If there was a reason. 2 strikes. He said when I was with Oakland, they used to send down the pants from the big club and they used to fall down. So now I just make them where they're downer to begin with, and that makes a lot of sense.
Dick Wagner would love that, wouldn't he? In Cincinnati. Wow.
2 and 2. Inside had to be comfortable. He's not up there for a portrait. He doesn't hit. And he's not going to make any magazines as a fashion plate. He might be if he gets enough hits. Straight away center field, and Gorman
He was saying that knee that he injured in a kind of a slide collision at home plate in the league championship series. He put it against the shin guard of Bob Boone. He said 100% better on a scale of 10. I'm probably a 7 now. It was about a 4 a couple days ago. So they saved him.
Weren't you surprised, Tony, that Harvey Keene didn't go with Marshall Edwards defensively in center field with that big area to cover, and then Gorman Thomas as the DH?
Gorman Thomas would have no part of the DH, he said. He said, when I'm 40, I might think about it. He said, I want to play.
So it's strike one on Gene Tennis. Tennis is the DH. Whitey Herzog, of course, had the DH when he was over at Kansas City, so it's nothing new to him. It's new to National League fans here in St. Louis. Tennis way out. It's a quick two-strike count. There he is, Whitey Herzog, Illinois.
It's the kind of series that Whitey Herzog, although he had good advance, probably didn't need him. He is very familiar with the Brewers hitters, how to pitch them, how to defend.
Tennis takes it outside. Ball, 2 strikes. Tennis, 6-footer, 190. We look at Harvey Keene, born in Russellton, Pennsylvania, lives in Poway, California. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. 2-0, Milwaukee leading. Mike Caldwell.
Tennis, a very disciplined hitter. He can get a lot of bases on balls.
Pops it up. And Cecil Cooper says he's going to take it. And he does. 2 outs.
Joe, they've talked about the spacious ballpark. And Whitey Herzog, aside from the dimensions that we showed you earlier, Whitey Herzog was saying he thinks the ball does not carry well here because it is built down beneath street. Now, I don't know what sense it makes whether it's damp or daytime. It'll carry back. A lot of home runs, or people who think they're home runs, lose them to center and toward the power alleys in right and left center. He said it is a harder ballpark to hit home runs in than Kansas City. Kansas City's tough to hit them in.
But the gap, it's a good gapper ballpark, doubles and triples ballpark, as Darrell Porter takes the first pitch outside, ball 1. Almost an identical stance as Cooper kind of peers and rocks and gets on his toes. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs, 2-0, Milwaukee leading, bottom of the 2nd. Porter, 12 home runs, 48 runs batted in, hit .231 on the year. He was hot during the championship series, voted the most valuable player. Well hit, right center field. Charlie Moore can't get it. Porter's got extra bases. Running it down is Gorman Thomas. Porter has a double.
So after an off season, he has stayed hot as he was during the championship series. Charlie Moore got the big bounce. Fitz slap it down. If that ball goes by him, I don't know if Gorman Thomas could have been there. It might have been a triple. So there may be the first example of, well, not exactly a lack of speed, not as speed as the Cardinals evidence.
2 outs here with David Green. Finished the year at 283. Takes it low, ball 1. Nothing. Milwaukee leading the Cardinals.
Now, George Hendrick may not have caught that ball either, but he's fast enough. He might have played it on a shorter hop and limited the play to a single. That's the difference. As Tom Seaver pointed out, outs and singles can become doubles and triples.
Fastball misses. 2 balls and no strikes. Darrell Porter on at second. First Cardinal hit.
Throw infield with 2 outs, 1 thought in mind. At least knock the ball down. Keep that run from scoring. Best throwing arm is Porter at second, and the outfield belongs to Moore. Gorman Thomas has had a sore shoulder, and Ogilvy's arm a little bit above average.
2 balls and 1 strike to count. Caldwell reaches 5, and Porter is just doubled. Cecil Cooper had him play perfectly. So at the end of 2 innings, the score here, it's the Milwaukee Brewers 2, the Cardinals nothing. And due up, Ogilvy, Thomas, and Howell. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Thursday, a Yankee fan gets a big cheers welcome. Thursday night on Cheers.
Hello, I'm Robert Jones. Finishing TV. Dr. Coleman. He always wants to hear the latest. I'm a millionaire. He doesn't know I can dial a 1-minute call for only $2.50. 95 cents for every minute after that. And I don't tell him. If you got fans or friends over there, call them. But let's keep the price a secret.
Bell brings the world closer. Tom Bradley on the issue, crime.
One of the first things I'll do as governor is for a tough, no-nonsense anti-program to abolish automatic parole, to strengthen penalties for criminals and home burglars, to enforce the death penalty, and to increase sentences for violent offenders. These proposals alone won't solve the crime problem, but they're a step in the right direction.
Bradley for governor, a real crime fighter for California.
In the world of contemporary sculpture, only a classic endures. Presenting the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, currently the most popular mid-size car in America. And as you can plainly see, for 1983, the artistry continues. Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. Oldsmobile. Have one built for you.
Country Jamboree tonight following the men who made it happen.
Ben Ogilvy leads it off here. He was safe on an error. High atop Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. Bob Forsch against Milwaukee and Caldwell. With Milwaukee out in front 2-0, top of the third.
And Joe, in both innings, the Brewers have had a chance to knock Forsch out. They've left 5 stranded. It becomes important against that one base hit with 2 outs to get a couple more runs out of the board against the Cardinal team, because you take away some of the running game. So Forsch, he starts getting his control and keeps him close.
Just missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. I tell you, with the speed that the Cardinals do have, they stay away from that double play, which is the rally killer. You get a couple guys on, it's going to look like a track meet. Bouncing ball, foul down the first baseline.
Yeah, the Herzog family's here in Forest. Whitey's grandson. Yep, he's a granddaddy at 50. There's John here rooting for the Cardinals tonight.
Wave to Grandma in Detroit. Did you hear, Mama? All right. We hope Grandma in Detroit saw that. High hopper. Herb to Hernandez. And there's 1 out.
Garvin Thomas coming up. We've talked about his injured knee. We asked him about the conditioning and the possibility he almost became a DH today.
Okay. Well, I don't think I was going to DH. I guarantee you that. Sunday, on a 1 to 10 scale, I was probably a 2. Today I was out here at noon, and I had some therapy on my knee, and I did some running. And I think I'm at least up to a 5 right now. So I think I can cover the gaps well enough to play, and even if I didn't think so, I was going to play anyway. So that's the end of that.
Gorman Thomas.
So he played in that Sunday game against California where he could barely get down to first base. And, of course, when Harvey had to make the move, he put in Marshall Edwards, and he made the great catch off Baylor in left center.
Oberkfell at third base. The throw in time. 2 up and 2 down.
Give you a chance to see how far along his gimpy leg has come. He's still not running that well. Would you say, to use an overworked word, that he is a gamer? The guy is tough. He will challenge any wall in any park.
Here is Howell. I tell you, he once said, I People come to the ballpark to either watch me hit a home run, strike out, or run into a wall, and I'll give them one of the three on any given night. And that about says it all for Gorman Thomas. Tommy Herr, big hop, easy inning for Forsch. 1, 2, 3. So they're 3 up and 3 down. We go to the bottom of the third. It's 2-0. Milwaukee over the Cardinals. And due up, it'll be Forsch, Molitor, look at them, and the manager. They all look happy.
Was Gillette foamy, thick, and rich enough to restrain a rushing roller coaster? No. So we improved foamy. We made it even thicker and richer. So now is new improved foamy big enough and rich enough?
No. But if you thought your foamy gave you clean, close shaves, just wait till you see how much thicker and richer new improved foamy is.
New improved foamy. We made it even thicker and richer. What's wrong with the computer?
Tape drive. The Army's most technical skills are also the ones most in demand. But to qualify, there's a way to reserve the skill you want up to 12 months before you go in. It's called the Delayed Entry Program, and it guarantees you the training you want.
Okay, it's up.
In the Army.
Business. To be in the picture, you gotta be good.
Good and fast, like Canon's NP300F. 30 letter-sized copies a minute.
You gotta give and take.
Canon's 300F gives you reduction and document feeding. Even sorts it all out with optional sorter.
In today's leaner, trimmer business picture,
You need the good stuff.
and nothing but the Canon NP300F. Call toll-free for information or see your authorized Canon dealer.
We move into the bottom half of the third inning. Milwaukee 2, the Cardinals nothing. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek, Dick Enberg, and Tom Seaver here in St. Louis. Looks like Forsch is settling down. Caldwell has been in command. And now for the play-by-play, here is Dick Enberg.
All right, Joe. Ken Oberkfell, Ozzie Smith, and Tommy Herr for the Cardinals in the third inning. Caldwell's allowed one base hit. Porter's line drive to right that skipped off right fielder Charlie Moore for a double. Oberkfell at 289. Part of that all left-handed hitting St. Louis infield against a right-hander. Two of them, of course, are switch hitters. Some feel that left-handed pitching is the way to work on that Cardinal order. They're not quite as effective, those switch hitters from the right side.
And of course, you negate some of that running speed if the left-hander's got a decent move to first base, if they should get out.
1-1. And Caldwell, in contrast to Forsch, working very quickly. They're both the same kind of pitcher. They don't strike out many. When they're on, they don't walk many. They have to keep the ball down. 2-0. Milwaukee leads last of the third. To Hopper to Gantner, and there's one away. The coaches for the Cardinals, Hal Lanier, whose father Max, a pitcher for St. Louis, and over at third is Chuck Hiller, number 4. 20 years ago in the World Series, Chuck Hiller hit the first National League Grand Slam. During the year, he had 4 home runs all season. But against Marshall Bridges of the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, he said he swung and had his biggest thrill. Sometimes it is from unexpected sources that the heroes are derived in these series. And so it may well be. St. Louis and Milwaukee, someone buried in the lineup, expected to do something perhaps with the glove that'll come up and get you the big hit. Ozzie Smith, 248. Switch hitter. Tough play for Gantner. He gets him.
So Jimmy Gantner shows Ozzie Smith a little acrobatics of his own.
Number 20.
He has had knee surgery, Gantner has. He's not as mobile as he once was, Dick, but he is so tough on the double play. He gets off more throws with guys hanging all over him, I think, than any second baseman in baseball.
You like the Brewers double play combination?
I really do. They led the league in double plays in the American League. They may not be quite as good as Frank White and UL Washington when UL's healthy with Kansas City. But I think those two is Kansas City 1, 2, 3 defensively.
Kerr looping one to the shortstop, and Robin Yount squeezes it. Another easy inning for Mike Caldwell. After 3, it's 2-0.
Robin Yount, Don Sutton said he never saw so much ability since he saw Clemente. And here's a Fall Classic flashback.
As always, the Pirates' leader was Roberto Clemente. Professionally phenomenal, personally peerless, a special person who received a special and overwhelming selection to baseball's Hall of Fame.
Bob and Sandy Davis needed 2 incomes to afford the home they wanted. Then tragedy struck.
Allstate update. Joint mortgage protection.
Sandy died before the mortgage was paid. Life's mortgage protection could have helped pay off their mortgage if either of them from the price of 2 policies. But the Davises didn't have it. If both work, talk to an Allstate agent for life, home, and auto. Put yourself in good hands.
Families are learning about home computers. The family with the Atari home computer is learning
German,
French,
Italian.
the other
No foreign language.
in
3 programs.
the other.
We've only one.
And while the family learned plays of storage, and soon the other learned
He made a mistake.
over 1,000 programs featuring the world's most popular games. But sorry, only with Atari.
We'll get her out. Smoke is a killer. Most home fire deaths are caused by smoke and gases, not flames. Learn to stay low where the air is better, like firefighters do. Crawling could save your life.
Angela!
Learn how to prevent home fires and survive in an emergency. In the Fire Safety Book, free from participating Shell dealers. Come to Shell for answers.
Thursday.
Hey, will you quit crowding in? You're already taking
Those are called Alex and Louis throwing nothing but strikes. Taxi.
Busch Stadium packed, 53,000 fans. Top of the 4th inning. Milwaukee at bat leading 2-0. Charlie Moore, one stars of the playoff series, and the only Brewer against the Angels to hit safely in all 5 games. 301 since late August is one of the spurs for the Brewers as they battled off Baltimore. Rips at fair. Smith able to cut off the carom. Moore with a stand-up double.
Like a hanging breaking ball, Dick. Forsch, they've had him on the ropes a couple of times. The first inning, Forsch threw 39 pitches. Worked it down to 11 in the second. 3rd inning, threw just 8. We've got 3 ground balls. Hanging curveball. Obergfell playing in because Charlie Moore will drop a bunt on occasion. Some tricky corners here. You may have seen in the League Championship Series. Odell Washington, the ball hit the wall and right and just deadened. Some lively spots. You've got to be very cautious out there.
And in fact, it appeared Lonnie Smith just did get to it. It was taking a bounce that wanted to hug that wall and roll to left center. So a leadoff double by Moore brings up the number 9 hitter in the lineup for Milwaukee. Gantner will be trying to pull it, move that man to 3rd. Well, he's going to flip the bunt. Does it nicely. Hernandez at the back for the out, a sacrifice to Gantner. And the Brewers try to pick up the 3rd run, have Moore at 3rd with 1 away.
I doubt if it was a sign by Harvey Keene. He lets these guys play. Doesn't give a whole lot of tricky signs nor make a lot of moves. So Gantner took it upon himself, thinking he might not be able to pull Forsch, and he dragged the ball. He did the job.
Molitor grounded to 2nd and was safe on an infield hit to deep shortstop. There'll be a time break as they remove a sign that has been draped over the right center field fence. One of the ushers out to take that away.
It'll be interesting here to see if Molitor jumps on that first pitch, which is what he did the last time up when at the base hit.
Infield will shorten up. Obergfell at 3rd, Smith at short, Hurd 2nd, Hernandez at 1st, trying to call off the run at the plate. Infield tight. Hips to light. Brewers now with 5 base hits, leading 2-0, 1 away and Moore at 3rd. Ball 2. Robin Yount is on deck.
Molitor, a good fastball hitter. You almost have to. You're hitting your guessing breaking ball.
That's what he got. Molitor, a model of consistency, finished the year hitting .302. Against left-handers, he hit .302, and against right-handers, .302. He's not fussy. Broken bat shattered into center field, and a base hit. Moore scores. He's going for two. He is out.
And Dick, you just saw, you alluded to the point about the hitter's delight on the ground ball, but you can also see what happens on that little looper. Ozzie Smith, the shortstop, if he's playing his normal position, he'd stand there waiting. So the bat is shattered. Again, probably the type of pitch that Forsch wanted to make. Get inside. Smith alertly throws out the diving Molitor. You see some aggressive base running. Molitor at one time was getting hurt so darn much diving, they tried to stop him from diving into base. He used to dive head first in the home plate.
Here's Yount with 2 out. Base is empty. Milwaukee has built its lead to 3-0. The Brewers, who arrived at the World Series in a much different route than the St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers fought to the final day before knocking out Baltimore. Fought to the final game of the playoffs before the California Angels. The Cardinals were the first to clinch their division. And they swept Atlanta 3-0. Yount thrown out by Oberkfell. Milwaukee settles for a run on a brace of hits. No one left. Middle of the fourth. It's 3-0 Brewers. Coming up for the Cardinals in the home half of the fourth, Lonnie Smith, Keith Hernandez, and George Hendrick. Heavy end of the order for the Birds.
Biggest dreams, the greatest songs, the simplest joys stand out from all the rest. But best of all, we bring you all the best. But best of all, we bring you all the best. The finest friends, the warmest smiles, the greatest times stand out from all the rest. But best of all, we bring you all the best. But best of all, we bring you all the best.
They soften the sadness of goodbye and help say hello again. They make the best of beginnings even better and bring a smile at the end of the day. No wines share more of the best of times than the wines of Ernest and Julio Gallo.
But best of all,
From Ernest and Julio Gallo, all the
we
best.
bring you all the best.
When Ford Escort started out, it had a lot of things going for it. Nimble front-wheel drive, four-wheel independent suspension, and great mileage. No wonder Escorts have jumped over every big car, small car, foreign car, domestic car, over every other car line in America.
Thursday, Cheers talks baseball.
Boston stinks.
And Carla gets 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. How about that?
St. Louis Cardinals nest Busch Stadium. Milwaukee leading 3-0. Here's Molitor, and watch how that bat explodes.
I think he hit a pitch out of the strike zone, too. That was probably up too high.
Boy, Joe Garagiola, what do you say to your pitcher after you come back to the dugout, you make a pitch like that, and it costs you a run?
You almost want to go to the trainer and see if he's got any amnesia pills and let him forget about it, because as we look at Raleigh Fingers, he made a good pitch and he just happened to hit it. There's nothing you can do but sit and moan.
Raleigh Fingers, the frustration, he's missed some 5 weeks of the season, a sore arm, elbow, apparently much more serious than at first believed, and the guess is that he probably won't pitch in the series as much as he wants to. While St. Louis has its ace reliever, Bruce Sutter, ready. Check swing by Smith, and it's foul to the right. Lonnie Smith, who led the Cardinals in hitting this year, coming over from Philadelphia, finished at .307. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dick, they talk about 2 men on this Cardinal ball club, Hendricks and Lonnie Smith. we're going to get some MVP votes. And I really think that Lonnie Smith, because he's not a power hitter, has gone somewhat overlooked. He really is the key to this offense, I think.
Well, he's the first man since Lou Brock to steal 50 or more bases. Got a ways to go to catch. The great Cardinal outfielder in base stealing. But he's brought a lot of speed to this club. Fouled away 2-2. He was involved in that three-corner swap with Philadelphia, St. Louis, and Cleveland. The Cardinals gave up Martinez and Sorensen, a couple of pitchers in the deal to get Smith. Part of the 1980 Philadelphia Phillies championship. 3-2. And with the big guns to follow, Hernandez and Hendrick in tennis. Fans want Smith to get on there. Denied as Caldwell has his first strikeout.
A little extra on the fastball there. Caldwell, generally speaking, down low around the knees with that sinker and breaking stuff.
Hernandez from San Francisco. The 79 most valuable player in the National League, sharing that honor with the now retired Willie Stargell. Rolls it to Gantner. Another easy out for Caldwell. 2 gone in the Cardinal fourth.
Number 25, right fielder
Terrell Norman Herzog. He's been associated with several winning Major League teams. The New York Mets helped to build those miracle Mets of 1969 in their farm system. Served as a skipper briefly in Texas, coach in California, built the Kansas City Royals club, and boy, what trades he made here in St. Louis. He didn't make just a cosmetic change. He came in and said, I want to trade, but I want to go big. Not just a couple of fringe players. Let's go head on head. 3 good ones for your best 3. Hendrick stabbed by the first baseman Cooper, and it's another 1-2-3 inning as Caldwell, 3 out of 4 innings, has mowed down St. Louis in order. We go to the 5th inning at Busch Stadium. 3-0 Milwaukee.
6 ground ball outs that Caldwell has gotten now. Hit very hard. That'll show you the range of a Cecil Cooper, who has also won a Gold Glove. And look at Caldwell get over.
Well, Caldwell in a breeze. Sometimes when players have a spare moment, well, they do find special ways to relax. Back after these messages from your local station.
The Voyagers find history has run afoul when Babe Ruth considers quitting.
Baseball just wouldn't be baseball without Babe Ruth.
So they must get the Sultan of Swat to swing Sunday.
Well, Horace, how do I look?
He's inside out.
Presenting the investment that other investments would like to be. The Wells Fargo Market Rate Account. A $20,000 minimum balance gets you stylish money market yield and liquidity, plus the insured safety and convenience of Wells Fargo Bank.
Horses! We need horses!
The Market Rate Account from Wells Fargo Bank.
Low-price truck.
You hear that? Everybody talks about low-price trucks. I found out that this baby, Dodge Ram 50, is one powerhouse of a truck at one really low price for what it's got. And that's a fact. I paid just $59.87, and for that I got a truck that's loaded with space, with a standard bed that's longer than Toyota or Datsun. And a bigger payload. Dodge Ram 50, one powerhouse of a truck for just $59.87. See your Dodge dealer today.
The Forum presents Kool and the Gang tonight following Family Feud.
Adjacent to the banks of the old Mississippi, Busch Stadium, St. Louis, completed in 1966, the home of the Cardinals. They trail Milwaukee 3-0, top of the 5th. Cooper leads it off, loops it to left. Lonnie Smith is there. It's
twice that Forsch has induced Cooper to hit the ball in the air to the opposite field. Ted Simmons, the former Cardinal, he was involved in that major deal engineered between these two teams after the 1980 season. Simmons, Riley Fingers, and Pete Vukovich, who have all succeeded in Milwaukee, came over from St. Louis, and the Cardinals got Sixto Lizcano, Larry Sorensen, Dave LaPointe, and David Green. A good trade for both sides.
At one time, Whitey Herzog found himself with Terry Kennedy, now in San Diego, Porter and Simmons, three good catchers, and he had Fingers and Suter at the same time. Controversial move that he made.
Hit well to right. If it's fair, it's gone. It hooks foul.
Tell you, Ted Simmons, since about the middle of June, and he went into a little bit of a crouch, and he struggled last year, as you know. He went into that crouch. He's been smoking the ball pretty good. Driven in a lot of runs since the middle of June. Got out in front. Kind of pitcher doesn't mind making. Get the ball inside off the plate and say, go ahead, whale away.
This one's fair, and he will touch them all. Against his former battery mate. How sweet that one must have felt.
Number 24. And every run that these Brewers add puts this guy a little pressure, Whitey Herzog, where it takes away a little bit of his running game.
Forsch only gave up 16 home runs during the season. And here's the swing that touched it off. He really stayed with it, and he knew it was gone.
One out. It's now 4-0 Milwaukee. Oakley fouls it off to the left.
I think that triggers some more action in Whitey Herzog's bullpen.
Southpaw Jim Cott loosening up for the second time.
This Milwaukee club, I tell you, they come out swinging. You can tell in batting practice the bats are moving in the rack and nobody's even near them.
They were rattling all right.
They rattle.
The Brewers led the major leagues in home runs this year with 216. Cardinals, interestingly, were last with 67, so quite a difference. Hit sharply to her. Fernandez 2 away. Ogleby is 0 for 3. Ted Simmons from Detroit, Michigan. In this different era, Simmons recently, during the offseason, played house husband so that his wife, Mary Ann, could go back to the University of Michigan, finish her degree work. He's a most interesting character. He's an art critic. He collects antiques.
He's on the trustees here at the Art Museum. How many catchers can make that statement?
They overlooked you, I remember. Norman Thomas.
I remember a field trip we took once, though. A lot of Italian guys in the Art Museum. Don't look at me like that, Tony.
Field trip?
Sure, it's cool, and you never took one.
Take Yogi along with you, I suppose. They've now, Dick, put the shift on Gorman Thomas. Ozzie Smith is well over in the hole. The team is down by 4. Smith in the hole, and Herr has gone to the left field side of second base. What a gap in almost dead center field.
Daring him to hit it to center or right center. He fouls it away.
He tried to. He tried to go the opposite way. Something that Bob Horner finally did when they put the shift on in the championship series against this ball club.
He almost could check his swing and roll one through that right side.
In the 46 World Series, the great Ted Williams beat it with a bunt.
Well, you remember 46 when Joe Garagiola and Del Rice, the hitting for the St. Louis Cardinals. There he did just check his swing. Hit it to the one man that was there.
So the Cardinals come in trailing 4-0, and it's a game of moods. A disgusted Bob Forsch, a happy Simmons as he crosses the plate, and they welcome him in the dugout as they lead 4-0, the Brewers.
Hey, here it comes. Look, those honest eyes, that square jaw.
That dead raccoon.
I'll trade you this for your hot dog. You still take a great picture.
Still?
You know how I got this coat? It knocked over your garbage can.
He played football?
Well, he used to be a lot taller.
Now there's an honest face.
That's why he was acquitted.
If you don't have a sun camera, there's something left out of your life.
Mother wanted a picture of you.
Why?
Used to good friends.
Do you guys realize this is our 4th summer place together?
Remember that old beach house we had?
How about the time you two almost set the woods on fire?
Okay. Who's ready for a low and brow?
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brow.
You know, I think we finally got this down to an art.
Let it be low and brow.
Stu! Do you know how I can get this big package to Seattle overnight?
Gee, I don't know, Femur. Let's go up and bounce it off Boomer.
Gosh, I don't know, fellas. Let's go up and run it by Rizzo.
Let's parade this past Pooperman.
Let's waltz it by Wempus.
Let's dance it by Dolt.
If more people knew Federal Express handles great big packages, even up to 70 pounds, it sure would save everybody a whole lot of trouble.
Thursday, a Yankee fan gets a big cheers welcome. Thursday night on Cheers.
Happy Marianne Simmons. This year, Marianne, Ted's wife, came out with a publication. Magazine comes out 4 times yearly. Magazine is about women. As Teddy said, she knows a lot about baseball wives and women, and it's kind of centered in that direction. And she went back to school to get her degree while Teddy played husband and wife at home for a while, Dick.
Most interesting relationship and obviously a successful one. Both supported of the other in their adult roles. Gene Tennis, Darrell Porter, David Green for the Cardinals last of the 5th inning. It's 3-0 Milwaukee. Make it 4-0 Milwaukee on the home run by Ted Simmons in the top half of this inning. Gene Tennis, his place has been written in World Series history. 1972, remember? Against the Reds, he hit a homer his first 2 times up in that World Series. No one's ever done that before or since. A number, and Caldwell gets him. Oh, Mike Caldwell, breezing along here in the 5th inning, has allowed only 1 hit. That was Darrell Porter's double that skipped in front of Charlie Moore back in the 2nd inning.
Dick, that's 7 ground ball outs that I've counted, so he's got that ball pretty down low in the strike zone.
I thought that Richie Zisk and Rene Latchman, the Seattle manager, when they talked about guys with high speeds, 94, 95, he said they give you trouble, but those guys under 80 will give it to you. And they mentioned Caldwell because he changes speeds so well. Porter owns the only St. Louis hit.
See, Darrell looks like he's taken Cecil Cooper's stance and copied it, and Cecil Cooper copied it from Rod Carew.
At Cooper, he'll play it to the pitcher Caldwell, and another ground ball out, and that is 9 consecutive hitters retired by Caldwell. David Green, earlier when we showed you the tribute flashback 1971 series to Roberto Clemente, Roberto, and the irony of our lives, that Clemente was on his way to Nicaragua, support of the people who had suffered through a national tragedy when his plane crashed. And here is a Nicaraguan, David Green, who is compared to Roberto Clemente, his style, the way he swings the bat, the way he runs, the way he throws. He's only 21. They consider him as a great potential as a possible superstar.
Whitey brought him along slowly early in the season, playing him against left-handed pitchers. Then he hurt himself, and that's when McGee came up and just started tearing the league apart for a while.
A real measure, is it not, Tony, of Herzog's ability to spot good young talent, that he was acquired a Green and McGee in trades when no one really knew about them.
You know, Whitey was in charge of player personnel with the Mets, and he helped develop a lot of their young kids years back. A lot of experience in that area.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Green. He lined out to first baseman Cooper as only at bat.
You can go with a lot of scouting reports, but when you put Green, McGee, and Lonnie Smith in that outfield, and Lonnie Smith is the slowest, that really tells you a lot.
And that's what Whitey's trying to do, build this team around speed, line drive hitters.
I just see where Simmons set up. He set up about 2 feet outside, and Caldwell hit it. Forsch has had his feet on the ground a little bit in this ball game. It's hard for this Cardinal team to come back. They're scrappy, but with 4 runs down, you take away that running game.
One hopper to the third baseman, Molitor. And again, Caldwell retires St. Louis in order. That's 10 in a row for the left-hander of the Milwaukee Brewers. We go to the 6th inning. 4-0 Milwaukee. It'll be Roy Howell, Charlie Moore, Jim Gantner, the bottom 3 in Harvey Keene's order.
Seco LaSalle, marvels of thinness, so perfected, so refined, they reach the realm of art. Seco LaSalle, thin, rich, beautiful. Only the highest quartz technology could achieve such flawless design and performance. Seco LaSalle, the performing art of technology. See it only at your Seco authorized dealer.
Why did you bring your car to Kmart K-Care?
The price is always good.
Because the shocks are rotten, we're bouncing up and down, up and down.
Quality and honesty.
Up and down, up and down. The shocks just bounced.
Smooth your ride now with Monroe-Matic shock absorbers at a net price of $9.88 each after you receive a $3 mail-in rebate.
Nice and smooth.
Let Kmart K-Care take care of you.
I feel about Kmart the way I do about the Green Bay Packers. That's the truth.
According to a Prestone survey, 7 out of 10 cars on the road have rust in their radiators. Of these, almost half could look this bad. Any radiator could get this bad after just 10,000 miles driving on weak, neglected antifreeze. But look at the Prestone difference. Prestone, with its patented silicone silicate formula, forms a tough protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Be safe. Put in a fresh fill of Prestone now. Deep inside, trust Prestone.
Thursday.
His name is Alex Rieger. He's been missing for 15 hours.
But he's not missing here. He's striking it rich. Taxi.
Baseball, rich St. Louis, Missouri. Cardinals in their 13th World Series, 8-4 in the previous 12. It's always been a fantastic baseball area. And the names, of course, you could rattle those off for the next 2 or 3 innings. Roy Howell from Lompoc, Michigan, or California, rather, and he rolls it right to Hernandez for the first out in the 6th inning. So Howell is 0 for 2. Was hit by a pitch back in the 1st inning. Bob Forsch, whose brother Ken didn't pitch in the playoffs against Milwaukee, but there was thoughts at a time that there might be a matchup against the Forsch boys, Ken and Bob, both from Sacramento, California. Charlie Moore fouled out and ripped a double to left field. Scored on a looping single by Molitor back in the 4th inning.
Another one of the Brewers who uses the entire field to hit, and he'll drop a bunt on you if he catches you back at third base.
It's interesting, isn't it, Joe, that in this last couple of years, 2 men in the American League, Brian Downing with the Angels and Charlie Moore, the Brewers, have moved from behind the plate, catchers into the outfield, and have succeeded.
And their arms seem to improve. I mean, Moore is a better thrower now than he's ever been.
Well, it's bat number 4 that just got shattered by Forsch. As Moore goes back, Charlie Moore made some outstanding throws against Baltimore, and of course against California. Getting Reggie at third.
He made the big throws, got Reggie.
Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Your World Series station, KNBC, Los Angeles.
With Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, Tom Seaver, Bob Costas. This is Dick Enberg, Busch Stadium, St. Louis. The Milwaukee Brewers, the underdogs in this series, lead 4-0 in the 6th inning. Charlie Moore unable to leg out that ground ball to the shortstop, Ozzie Smith, who turns it into a fine defensive play. Makes him look easy. 2 gone in the 6th inning.
I don't know if Ozzie has underestimated the speed of some of those Brewers, but that was a bang-bang play right there again. 2nd time in this ball game. He is so under control and has such tremendous balance, though. That center of gravity is always properly, never loses balance. I guess that's where his agility comes from.
Gantner rips it to right. Hendrick will play it on a hop. So Gantner, his first hit. The Brewers have 8 in the game. And with 2 away, brings up the leadoff man, Paul Molitor. Molitor, the only man in the contest with a pair of hits. Just to quickly recap the scoring in case you're joining us late. Milwaukee scored twice in the first inning, 2 unearned runs, a 1-out single by Yount, a walk to Cooper. Ogilvy's hard ground ball to Hernandez went through the St. Louis first baseman for an error. Thomas drove in the second run with an infield hit to short. Then in the fourth inning, a double by Moore and a single by Molitor. A broken bat single made it 3-0. And a solo home run by Ted Simmons, the former Cardinal, in the fifth inning, made it 4-0 off Bob Forsch. Meanwhile, Mike Caldwell, the left-handed starter of the Milwaukee Brewers, who was knocked out early in the opening game of the playoffs against the Angels as Tommy John beat Milwaukee 8-3, has been mowing down St. Louis, allowing only 1 hit through 5 innings.
You can see Forsch when he gets ready from the stretch, as Joe mentioned earlier, bending that right knee. There are a lot of base stealers will look at that right knee. As soon as it cracks, they think he's coming over or going home, and he has eliminated that extra move.
Another base hit. Paul Molitor is 3 for 4. Gantner stops at second. That's 9 Milwaukee hits, and the fans here at Busch Stadium are becoming restless.
Molitor, who like Yount played just 64 games in the minor leagues. You can see how Yount led the league in base hits with 210. Molitor on first led the league in runs scored. Molitor fortunately had the opportunity to play at the University of Minnesota for the late Dick Siebert, a former major leaguer, who really polished his skills. Look out, pick off.
Ozzie Smith slipping in, but Gantner chased back by his third base coach Harry Warner. 2 outs, 2 on. Gantner at second, Molitor at first, and Robin Yount, the leading, if not the leading candidate for the American League Most Valuable Player award at the plate. He's 2 for 3 tonight.
Interestingly enough, Dick, in center field, Green is shading Yount a little bit toward left field. Many teams in the American League, in fact, I think most, play their center fielder shading him toward right center field, because he does hit a lot of balls in the gap in right center. Of course, it may be determined by how Forsch is going to pitch him. If he's going to try and jam him up and in.
He's got to. If he's going to play him that way, you got to play him that way. You better pitch him that way.
That's not a bad pitch for him to hit. If you don't get a way in, he can hit that ball out to the right center field, inside out, and get the barrel out.
A ball and 2 strikes, and the veteran 43-year-old Jim Cott, a major league pitcher for 24 seasons, a record, tuning up, and he looks as good now as he did when he pitched in the '65 series with the Minnesota Twins. 1-2.
You saw in that sequence that Porter wanted that ball inside. I think, Tony, if he's going to hit out there, they're either going to try to make him hit that ball that's out away from him. He's trying to jam him, thinking he's going to go that way. Porter wanted it inside, and he missed it completely with that last pitch.
Loop to right, that could be trouble. Fair ball. Gantner scores. Molitor heading for the plate, and it's 6-0 Milwaukee on a bloop double by Robin Yount.
And that may have been another broken bat. It did not sound good. You know, you may think that he's making good pitches up and in, but I don't think, unless he's got a great fastball on a given day, Forsch can pitch high. He's got to stay down. There's Hernandez in pursuit. George Hendrick, who's playing him over toward right center field. And Molitor, scoring from first, just showed you the kind of speed he has.
And this crowd now announced officially at 53,723. Partisan Cardinal fans are desperately quiet as a pitching change. Cott comes in. A break in the action. Top of the 6th inning. It's Milwaukee 6, St. Louis nothing.
In 1935, Easterners came by the busload to discover the West, and along with it, Levi's 501 jeans, the original button-fly, shrink-to-fit cowboy blue jeans. Modern travel has changed a bit since then, but the Levi's 501 jeans that won the West still shrink to form that uniquely personal relationship with the wearer, like no other jeans you'll ever own. Levi's 501s, the original blue jeans.
It began as a concept called the total car. It has become the totally new Ford LTD. Reshaped, refined, totally redesigned with new comfort, smoothness, with new gas-filled shocks for a remarkable ride. New Ford LTD for 1983. The total car, a totally new driving experience.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
In today's offices, managers and professionals are expected to earn their salaries with tools that haven't changed much since the 1800s, like the ballpoint pen, the pencil and eraser, and the typewriter. No wonder productivity is behind the times. But Xerox can help with flexible information systems that simplify word and data processing and print and distribute information at record speeds, which can put you a century ahead of where you were yesterday.
The Voyagers find history has run afoul when Babe Ruth considers quitting.
Baseball just wouldn't be baseball without Babe Ruth.
So they must get the Sultan of Swat to swing Sunday.
The amazing Jim Cott from Holland, Michigan. 62 games. He still throws strikes. Had a couple of saves, 5 wins. One of the oldest to ever pitch in a World Series game. If you're curious, 46-year-old pitcher John Quinn worked for Philadelphia in 1930 in a series. Cott now is the second oldest to ever play in a World Series at 43. Of course, he's pitched for 24 years, a major league record. Cecil Cooper, the first man he faces, he out at second with a 2-run double.
Dick, I think aside from keeping that body in great condition, there are the players that Dick was just telling you about. Aside from the great physical condition Cott is in, I think he has been one pitcher who has adjusted different phase of his career. And you can see right there by coming down from the side, an adjustment he made at the suggestion of Pop Kittle and Whitey Herzog in the spring of the year. Dropped down a little bit. He throws a little bit harder. Used to be 3/4 when he first came up. Then he went to that speedy delivery with the White Sox. Another comeback in his career under Johnny Sain.
Coming from the side and then pinning that ball on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's 6-0 Milwaukee. 6 runs, 10 hits for the Brewers. No runs, 1 hit for St. Louis. Well, Cott, indeed, 43 going on 25. He strikes out Cecil Cooper, but the Brewers get 2 runs, 3 hits, leave a man, middle of the 6th. Milwaukee, a half dozen. St. Louis, nothing.
It's all yours, and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Oh, welcome to Miller Time. Yours, mine.
The best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
I've got an unfair advantage over these guys. My looks? Are you kidding? I've got the Gillette Atra. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra's better than twin blade razors that don't pivot. See, they don't always stay on my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. I get a better shave. See? Close. Comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
So who said life was fair?
It's a sensation you've never felt before. The 4x6 from Suzuki. 4 wheels, 6 speeds, including reverse. It conquers ruts, hills, rocks, sand, and snow. Because there are still some places man was never meant to walk. Suzuki made the 4x6. Ride the revolutionary 4x6. The sensation of Suzuki.
Busch Stadium in St. Louis. This crowd of 53,723 silenced as Harvey's wallbangers, they call them, the Milwaukee Brewers of Harvey Keene. And the left-hander Mike Caldwell, who cleverly has worked to the St. Louis batting order, allowing only 1 hit, and leads 6-0 in the last of the 6th.
He accomplished another thing that he wanted to do in this ballgame, and that is not walk any Cardinals.
Oberkfell, Smith, and Herr in the 6th. And that is the 10th straight batter that Caldwell has faced and thrown the first pitch in the strike zone. And he's gone 13 out of the last 17. First pitch in there. Up the middle. Gantner gets him by a step. Another ground ball out for Caldwell, and Gantner's been a busy man.
That's number 10 ground ball out. In fact, Caldwell had 3 ground outs in the first inning, 3 ground outs in the 5th. And he's got the sinker down at the knees.
Usually in a spot like this, I'm sure Simmons will holler to him, be alive for the bunt. Sometimes a guy like Ozzie Smith will try to beat out the bunt to get the thing started. They need somebody to start the fire.
They're looking for the bunt at the corners, with Molitor on the line at third, and Cooper just a step off the line at first base. Smith handles the bat very well. Loop to center. Thomas is there, and there's 2 away.
That's one of the things I asked the advanced scouts, Steve Fondy and Nelson Burberry from the Brewers. They scouted the Cardinals. If on this turf, this big ballpark, the outfield would play deeper to cut off the gap, and they say that no, they recommended not to play deeper because they do not have much power in this lineup, and you could catch a lot of those loopers like that. So they're not moving back. I don't think they're afraid of the turf in the big outfield.
Caldwell now has retired 12 straight batters and hits the corner again. First pitch in the strike zone.
I tell you, when you stay ahead of that hitter, what a difference it makes.
Herr has grounded to short and popped to short. 2 out, last of the 6. 6-0 Milwaukee. 1-1. Lee Wire behind the plate in his 2nd World Series. And it's 1-2. Caldwell makes home in Raleigh, North Carolina. Pitched 6 years in the National League. And there's another National League veteran who has migrated to the American side, Don Sutton. Won the final game against Baltimore and won that key 3rd game against the Angels when Milwaukee returned from Anaheim. Sal Bando with him. Sal Bando and Don Sutton both have used the microphone rather neatly as well here on NBC.
I would think that in the future that Sal Bando would be a managerial candidate that for the Brewers, depending upon whether Harvey Keene will come back or not, or if he wants to come back.
Full count now to Tommy Herr. Caldwell has not walked a man.
Well, Harvey's got the right idea, though, and he said he'd call him an interim manager. He said, hey, any manager takes the job as an interim manager.
He's right on there, isn't he?
Dead on center.
As soon as you sign the contract to be hired, you know someday you're going to be fired. At least that's the pattern. And Herr draws a walk.
That was only the 2nd batter. He'd been 3 on 2 on in this ball game. And now he's giving up the first one.
And thus ends the 12 straight batters retired by Caldwell.
You can see what Hal Lanier is doing, a jammed finger by Herr. What he is doing is they put the glove on, and then they tape the jammed finger to the one next to it. It acts as a splint. You've probably seen basketball players do it more frequently than a baseball player. Gives it support.
Lonnie Smith struck out his last time up. Looked like he turned that one over a bit.
Close to a screwball, and when he takes something off that pitch stick, it looks even more like a screwball. Cal McLish, one of the pitching coaches, was telling us before the ball game, you'll throw 3 different speeds on that sinker.
1 ball, 1 strike. Your point was well taken, Tony Kubek, earlier, that the one thing the opposition tries to do against the Cardinals in this ballpark especially, get at least a 3-run lead, take some of the running game away. So it is here in the 6th inning with Milwaukee in front 6-0. Herr, who has good ability on the bases. That's not the good gamble when you're down by 6. 1-2 the count. 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 1-2 the cou
Cardinal Ball Club during the regular season stole 200 bases.
Smith, the only man that Caldwell has struck out, but the left-hander has punched out Smith twice. No runs, no hits, a man left. 6 innings complete. 6-0 Milwaukee. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Thursday.
Hey, will you quit crowding here? You're already taking up line space.
Those old pros, Alex and Louis, are throwing nothing but strikes. Taxi.
Over 50 years ago in Germany, Audi was already building front-wheel drive cars. Today, front-wheel drive perfection is built into every Audi, including the luxurious 5000 Turbo, the exciting 4000 sedan, and the exhilarating coupe. Audi brings innovative ideas from the old world to the new world. See your Southern California Porsche Audi dealer.
I'm late. Bye.
We know little things going wrong can be a big nuisance when you travel. That's why at American Airlines,
We spend over $1 million a day making sure everything goes right.
from important inspections out here,
To making sure everything works in here.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
Okay, parts galore. Now she should purr like a kitten. Would you believe a Bengal tiger?
Maybe it's time for cheese.
Confidence parts. And in Cheap Auto Parts, these come with a year's full replacement policy, right?
Right. And Cheap offers terrific prices on quality parts, and doing it yourself can save over $30 an hour more.
Why, I could make millions just changing my air filter. You're smart to do it with cheap parts.
The men who made it happen tonight following baseball.
Top of the 7th inning. Busch Stadium, St. Louis. First game of the 1982 World Series, and the Milwaukee Brewers lead the Cardinals 6-0. Ted Simmons, who struck out with 2 men aboard in the first inning and popped up with 2 men on in the second, came back to club a home run over the right field wall in the 5th inning, the game's only homer. Batting right-handed for the first time, and he singles to center off Jim Cott. First hit off Cott. And Simmons is aboard. That was the right-handed swing. The left-handed swing produced this home run.
A Forsch fastball, didn't sink, wasn't down enough, just below the belt. Little bit of the inside part of the plate.
Van Ogilvy comes up. What would it do for Milwaukee, especially as the underdog, winning that first game on the road to the World Series, Joe?
It just makes you feel pretty good.
I think a lot of people thought St. Louis might do the same thing here that the Angels did to Milwaukee out in Anaheim.
Well, it's the old theory, I think, Dick. You started off in the 2 games in the road park. You want to at least go home with a split.
That first one is the big one. That's when you stop a lot of the intangibles, so to speak.
Well, there's so few players who have appeared in the World Series. It just means that 25 guys know they can win. They've got that first one tucked away.
Well, it's like the Milwaukee club. They've watched the Cardinals on television. They've heard about it. They heard the scouts, and now they see it firsthand. They say, hey, here's what we saw. Here's what we did, and pretty nice.
Ogilvy to Hernandez. It's a fair ball, and Ogilvy doesn't run a double play. Ogilvy thought it was foul.
Number 20, center fielder Norman Thomas.
You'll see Keith Hernandez, what he does is he's on the corner of the bag. He removes. Well, he didn't remove.
No, he didn't
He
step
never
on the
stepped
bag.
on the bag. Dick, you're
2
absolutely
guys
right.
made
He
the
never
wrong
did.
play, actually, Tony. 2 guys made the wrong play. Hernandez could have stepped as Ogilvy hits the ball. Hernandez could have stepped on the bag and got the tag, but he didn't do that. And then when Ogilvy...
Haller is signaling it is a fair ball, and I saw the right hand up, and I say, hey, he's calling out because he's removed the force, but he had. I wonder if that's what fooled Ogilvy like it fooled me. If he thought right hand is out, he is saying he's out at first base, Ogilvy, because the force is removed.
Yeah, but he went to umpire instead of base runner, and it cost him.
I could see how he could get fooled on it, though.
Yeah, I can, too. But you tell that to some managers and say, hey, you're not supposed to think, you're supposed to run.
And for the fans watching, it's not where the player is that fields the ball, it is where the ball is. Hernandez was in foul territory, but the ball was still over the bag and ruled fair. And Ogilvie, watching the fielder, was hoping it foul, winds up with a 3-6-3 double play. Thomas taking all away, and on 4 pitches he walks.
We'll show you Ben Ogilvie one more time as he chops this ball down. Breaking ball from Cott. He's saying, yeah, it's foul. Nope, it isn't foul. Sorry, 3-6-3 double play. He's saying foul ball. That's exactly what you said.
Been a frustrating October for Ogilvie. He was the man in left field that had that fan reach out, take that ball right out of his glove. Bob Boone credited with a home run.
Pinch hitting for designated hitter Roy Howell.
Pinch hitter for the DH, Roy Howell. Don Money.
Money hitting for Howell.
His run production during the year was just outstanding, I think. The guy at one time was an exceptional defensive infielder, third baseman. Still holds record in the National and the American League. Look at his stats. 96 games, 55 RBIs, and 16 home runs, and just 275 official at-bats.
He's the dean of the Brewers. He's played in Milwaukee longer than anyone on the 25-man World Series roster. Born in Washington, D.C., and now makes his home in Vineland, New Jersey.
Not sneak too many fastballs by this guy, especially inside part of the plate, unless you come way in. Oh, look at that pitch. Down under almost.
That was one of them submarine American Legion roundhouses.
I think it's surprising. Cott, since he dropped down, they say is actually throwing the ball a little bit harder, and he can scare some left-handers off the plate with that.
Hit well to right center. Hendrick runs it down.
First time that big ballpark out in that area has come into play. He hit it a ton.
No runs, a hit, a double play, and a man left. We go to the stretch half of the 7th inning. It'll be Hernandez, Hendrick, and Gene Tennis for St. Louis. The Birds are down by 6.
It's a funny time to ask, but did you look into those investments? I asked my broker, and, well, my broker is E.F. Hutton, and E.F. Hutton says...
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
If you care about your pictures, you'll flip over Kodak paper. Because for a good look on the front, it helps to have Kodak paper on the back. Kodak paper. It's the only paper to flip over. So to help your pictures look their best, come to a store that cares enough to use Kodak paper.
And you'll flip.
Just ask for Kodak paper where you see this sign. And start flipping.
Arcade players, get ready. The new Atari 5200 Super System is here. With a controller so advanced it plays arcade. Graphics so real it looks arcade. With arcade hits you can't play on any other system. No other home video system can touch it. The new Atari 5200 Super System. It's as good as you are, maybe even better. Next time.
Thursday, Cheers talks baseball.
Boston stinks.
And Carla gets 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. How about that?
Ben Ogilvie, embarrassed, 3-6-3. Sits 90 feet between bases, and you run counterclockwise, but funny things do happen. Now Ben Ogilvie, there'll be brighter days. 7th inning, St. Louis down 6-0. We'll send Hernandez, Hendrick, and Tennis against Mike Caldwell, working on a 1-hitter. And he's far enough along now that We can maybe talk about World Series one-hitters. There have been only 3 in World Series history. Jim Lonborg was the last to do it for the Red Sox against these Cardinals in '67. In '45, Claude Passeau of the Cubs against the Tigers. And, of course, '47, the most famous one-hitter of all in World Series history, Bill Bevins.
Bill Bevins.
And Cookie Lavagetto's hit in the 9th inning spoiled the no-hitter by Bevins with 2 outs. And, of course, only 1 no-hitter. That was the perfecto by Don Larson in '56.
They have tried to keep the ball in on the fists on Hernandez thus far today, just like that. They jammed him a couple of times. 9 ground ball outs from Caldwell.
2 balls and a strike. Tom Seaver, your expert eye watching pitcher Caldwell. Why has he been so effective tonight?
It's really pretty basic what he's doing. He's getting ahead of most of every hitter. He's been to 3 balls on but 2 hitters the entire evening. And one thing that's happening here tonight, he's keeping the ball down in the strike zone, and he has the fellow behind the plate in Lee Wire, who in the National League has the biggest strike zone of anybody in the National League. But he's doing the kinds of things that you have to do with this against this Cardinal ball club, is keep the speedy runners off the base. If they're going to get on base, they're going to have to hit their way on, which is obviously something they have not done tonight.
There's Lee Wire, big strike zone, but pitchers scout umpires, they know how they can work to certain arbiters. And even though he's an American League pitcher, Caldwell spent some time in the National League 6 years. Gantner has still another assist, and Caldwell, 2 outs into the 7th inning, still owns a 1-hitter.
11 ground ball outs now. I think another thing, Tom, is that the defense, and of course I really think that the Cardinal defense is probably the best in baseball and handles artificial surface as well or better than anybody. But I think it's been much heralded, and they've forgotten, because the Brewers are a power team, the kind of defense that they are capable of playing. I think they've shown a little bit of that tonight.
Gene Tennis, ball 1. Tennis celebrated his 200th career home run during the course of the '82 regular season. Finished with 7 in all. Part of that budding dynasty that Charlie Finley had built in the early '70s as the A's won 3 in a row, and so many remnants of that Oakland organization scattered around the major leagues still playing, and playing in the superstar roles. Rolling fingers. Reggie Jackson.
Poof, they were all gone, weren't they? Little credit should be given to the man behind the plate. If anybody's got a book on the Cardinal hitters, it's got to be the man behind home plate, Ted Simmons, and he has kept Caldwell in a rhythm, in a groove. He's putting targets down, and Caldwell is near it most of the time.
He's kept him from overthrowing the ball, trying to throw too hard.
2-2. Ooh, there's a little change, and that's a tough one to lay off. Full count. Tennis has popped to first and grounded back to the mound. He got him. Caldwell's 3rd strikeout. And again, he gets the Cardinals in order, the 5th time in 7 innings tonight. 1 hit, that's all he's allowed. A double by Darrell Porter. Mike Caldwell goes to the dugout with a 6-0 lead.
From the furnaces at Ford, it's Mustang GT, the boss for 1983. Hot new styling. New 4-barrel carburetor, a 5-liter high-output engine. The boss, the 175-horsepower Mustang GT. One hot piece of American steel.
And now, an exciting message from Burger King.
We know you're watching the game, but you're waiting for something more exciting. Ready? Broiling beef frying nearly 2-to-1 in the coast-to-coast survey. Not better than baseball? Think about it. Nearly 2 out of 3 people chose broiling. Burger King broils. McDonald's and Wendy's fried. Okay, now back to baseball. But the second it's over, everybody up. Click off your sets. Come on to Burger King.
It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
NBC Sports proud to bring you this 79th World Series. Dick Enberg, Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, and Tom Seaver. Busch Stadium, 6 runs, 11 hits for the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cardinals, no runs and only 1 hit as we go to the top of the 8th inning. And back with the play, here's Joe Garagiola.
Dave LaPointe is the new pitcher. And this is one of the, as we look at the Milwaukee bench, and right now it's a 6-0 ball game. Milwaukee out in front. LaPointe is one of the young pitchers that Whitey Herzog wanted in the big trade. There's the strike.
He's one of the young pitchers that Hub Kittle has babied along. LaPointe, Lottie, Martin, Stuper, who will be a starter in this series.
Charlie Moore fouls it off. LaPointe never had a losing record in the minor leagues. Came from Milwaukee with Sixto Lescano, Larry Sorensen, David Green for Ted Simmons, Fingers, and Vukovic. Charlie Moore. He doubled and scored in the 4th. Curveball hangs high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 8th.
LaPointe, a power pitcher. Good fastball. When he gets wild, he usually runs the ball wild, high to right-hand hitters that you just saw. Slider. Hub Kittle's worked out a curveball with him. You just saw it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Charlie Moore. High fly ball, left field. Lonnie Smith waiting. 1 out. Jim Gantner is the batter. Gantner flied to center field in the 2nd inning. Sacrificed in the 4th. Single and scored in the 6th. Really tried to beat out that bunt in the 4th inning. Moore had led off with a double. He moved him over. Out of play, strike 1.
The way his fastball, LaPointe, runs into left-handed hitters, he looks like he can be awfully tough. Maybe as hard a throw as they have in that staff. Andujar throws awfully hard.
Hit behind it. Ozzy's cut off. Nice play by the 3rd baseman, Oberkfell. Beautiful play. I thought he was going to get by him.
Ken Oberkfell has been afforded the luxury of having an Ozzie Smith, and he says that he can play closer to the line. He was kind of on the line and in, but he showed his range to the left. Good off-balance snap throw.
2 outs, and it brings up Paul Molitor.
Want to remind fans that Saturday before or after Game 4 of this World Series, oh, what a fight we have for you. Frank the Animal Fletcher and James Hard Rock Green. It's a 12-rounder for the USBA Championship. Also have Sumo Wrestling at Sports World returns with an exciting lineup. That live championship fight. Sumo Wrestling, 4 o'clock after Game 4 of the World Series.
I love those nicknames. Hard Rock.
They didn't call.
Does he sound tough?
They had a coach with the Cubs, Hard Rock Johnson. Oh, sure, Roy Johnson. 1 ball and 1 strike on Paul Molitor, and he was tough, Tony. Hi, 2 balls and a strike.
How's that saying go? Whether you hit Hard Rock or Hard Rock hits you, it's bad for you.
The on-deck batter, Robin Yount. Doesn't get it. Molitor may have chased a bad ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 6-0. Milwaukee's leading. We're in the top of the 8th. Looking ahead to the Cardinals, it'll be Porter, Green, and Oberkfell.
Looked like a pretty good change right there. It almost acted like a little bit of a screwball. Ran away from Molitor.
Right back up the middle. Smith knocks it down, but he can't make a play.
Anybody do that better than he does? It's incredible. You know, that man right there has been gifted with speed, quickness, and tremendous hand-eye coordination, which he has worked at. I think he has the ideal temperament for a shortstop. He wants every ball hit to him. He has the intelligence of a shortstop. He knows situations, hitters, how to anticipate.
Jack in the box. Look at this acrobatic talent, how quickly he gets to his feet. Look, he's ready to go. Realizes he can't get a speedy runner in Molitor, but he was ready.
The standard I've used for years for shortstops is Mark Belanger. I mean, the Concepcion has been awfully good, and the steadiness of a Larry Boa. But using Belanger as the standard, this guy may be just a tad better. And that's saying a lot, I think.
That's the 4th base hit for Paul Molitor. Most hits in the game. It's been done 40 times. He ties a record with that base hit. And ball 1 strike on Yount. Medwick, Greenberg. I could read them all, guys, but humility keeps me from it.
You had 4 hits in a row?
Not in a row, but I have 4 hits in the game. Yount lines one to right field.
He just tied the record.
Yount has 4 base hits. Well, I tell you, in 46, Karowski, Slaughter, Garagiola, and Wally Moses had 4 hits in that game.
Number 15, first baseman.
Well, Robin Yount, who has, to me, a little unique batting stance, that it's closed. He chokes the bat a little bit. Look at how that top hand, he chokes the bat. You can see it with that right elbow up. It makes him more of a low ball hitter. You can see the head on the ball and the real tremendous weight shift, hitting off that firm front leg. I wouldn't say that's the ideal follow-through, although it looked like he might have been trying to push the ball the opposite way, or he got tied up inside.
You remember Harvey Keene? He used to hit the same way, won a batting title, hit off that front foot.
Not quite the power this guy's got.
No, but...
Gee, Harvey used to hit down the right field line and left field line.
Cecil Cooper with the count of strike 1. Molitor is on at second base. Yount is on at first. 2 men out. 6-0 Milwaukee leading in the 8th inning. It's outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Molitor with 4 base hits. Yount with 4 base hits. And there you see the runners. A home run by Simmons. He has 2 base hits. Broken bat. Flip to Ozzie Smith. The force is on. And so the inning ends. The score as we go 6-0 Milwaukee leading. And Dick.
Ozzie Smith, a great play. Didn't get his man, but showed his great ability. A lot of fine shortstops in the majors.
Ship air cargo, time is everything. That's why Flying Tigers delivers everything. Not just small packages. In fact, no matter what size your shipment is, we'll pick it up, fly it, and deliver it overnight, virtually anywhere in the country, on time. Or you don't pay. Small, medium, or large. Call Flying Tigers. It's on time, or it's on us.
Flying Tigers.
This is the largest truck plane in the free world. Hi, Don. My name is Jim White. I'm the plant manager here. I chose Bell because I expect my communication system, and I mean voice and data, to be a tool that helps me do my job. The Bell people say, Jim, you don't have to know how to keep the system running. We'll do that for you. And they do. That's what I call service, and that's why we chose Bell.
The knowledge business.
You know, there's nothing like getting together for a nice, friendly game of cards. That's right. Jim brings the cards.
Uh-oh.
Mickey brings the doll.
Thanks, doll.
And I bring the beer. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great. It's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. And it's less filling. And you don't want to get filled up when you're dealing with these guys who... Okay, Numa, cut the cards. Oh, no.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Thursday.
How would you like to take a flying leap up a knuckle sandwich?
The Cheers gang talks baseball. Then Alex and Louis slide into the big time. Taxi. Well, Darrell Porter will lead it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He has the only base hit. The story is Mike Caldwell and his pitching. And, of course, the hitting, 13 base hits by the Brewers, 6 runs on the scoreboard. Caldwell has allowed only 2 base runners. Porter's double in the 2nd inning and base on balls to Tommy Herr. And here he comes. Strike 1. He gets ahead of that hitter.
Say, I saw him pitch, I think, his last 3 or 4 starts at home against Baltimore in Milwaukee. And he got wrapped around pretty good, a lot of line drives. Then he pitched in the first game of that doubleheader in Baltimore on a Friday night, and he didn't have very much. And he got roughed up by California also. he has been outstanding tonight. That sinker has been sinking.
Time is called as something fell out of the bleachers in left center field, a sign, and Ogilvy has gone over to pick it up, as you can see. I'll tell you, the difference when I remember Mr. Rickey talking about pitching, he said a good pitcher is a pitcher who can put a particular pitch in a particular spot. And Caldwell has been a good pitcher tonight. Loosening up.
When he is right, he can do something that some sinker ballers can't do. He can take a low ball hitter, knowing the low ball hitter's going down for it, and throw that thing and make him bite on it. In other words, it's a bad low ball. So he'll get low ball hitters out like he is tonight when he's right.
The one strike pitch to Porter is fastball, strike 2. Caldwell, since July 9th, he's averaged going 8 1/3 innings per start. And he has been a most pleasant surprise for Harvey Keene as Porter rips a foul ball. Count remains at 2 strikes. Fredberg trying to whoop it up. Whitey Herzog, his club trailing by 6-0.
Talked about this park resembling the park that Herzog managed in Kansas City. Brewers in Kansas City this year were 1 win and 5 losses.
Now back.
Milwaukee likes to play on the road. They have the best record in the major leagues away from their home park, and they're showing the Cardinals a little bit of that tonight.
Then to Caldwell. The wide section of Milwaukee Brewers. High hopper's going to be a tough play. Can't get it. Base hit for Porter. $53,723 here. Not much to cheer. Porter has just opened up the 8th inning with the base hit. Brings up David Green.
Gander had swung around and played Porter as a pull hitter. He was well over toward that hole toward Cooper, so he had a long way to go, and that ball just picked up the speed on artificial surface.
Green waiting. Foul ball, strike 1.
Joe, there are some sinker ball pitchers like Caldwell who they say shouldn't pitch an artificial surface. Tommy John is one who's a similar pitcher to Caldwell who says he turns it around as a positive. He says, I love to pitch on it because the ball gets to my infielders faster. I can set up my infield for double plays. And I think that's the way a sinker baller has got to look at this and turn that what could be a negative into that kind of positive.
1 ball and 1 strike. 6-0. Milwaukee leading. Cooper's playing behind the runner at first base. There you see it. Right field. Charlie Moore going back near the wall, and he makes the grab. Charlie Moore makes the grab, taking an extra base hit away from David Green.
For a young hitter, David Green has shown today that he can go with a pitch. He lined out the first earlier to Cooper. Moore was playing shallow. That is the part of the ballpark more toward the foul poles where the ball carries better than from right to left center field. He made an outstanding catch.
Tony, that's where the warning track came into play because Charlie Moore never did take his eyes off the ball, but he could feel himself leaving the artificial surface onto the warning track, and he just kept going until he made the play. That was just a great play by Charlie Moore. Oberkfell. Base hit, center field. Porter holds at second.
For the sinker baller, Caldwell on the mound. Gantner has been shading some left-hand hitters toward first base. He did for Oberkfell. Oberkfell is basically not a pull hitter. I don't know if that was a slider that he got up and over the plate that he just drilled up the middle.
So with 1 man out, here is Ozzie Smith. runners at first and second. Milwaukee leading 6-0. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Foul ball out of play, strike one.
Bullpen now starts going for Harvey Keene's Brewers with those 2 runners on base.
Well, this is a rare opportunity for the Cardinal fans. They have something to cheer about, trying to get something going.
Right-hander Peter Ladd, left-hander Bob McClure.
Line drive, right field. Moore is there, makes the catch. There are 2 outs.
Well, Raleigh Fingers is not up right now. We showed you Ladd and McClure, but we asked Fingers before the ball game if he was able to pitch if needed today or during the series.
Well, the injury that I have is I tore one of the flexor muscles here just off the elbow in my forearm. And it was black and blue for about 4 or 5 days, and it's still painful. I can throw, though, but for how long, I don't know. I can throw anywhere 20 to 25 pitches, and it really starts bothering me. But I think I can go out there and get 1 or 2 outs if the occasion arises.
Raleigh Fingers, who's been a big man in the bullpen for a couple of ball clubs.
I'll tell you, Joe, they've been saying that about Fingers. He's been saying that for about 3 or 4 weeks, like it's a day-to-day thing. So apparently it's more serious than a pull or a tear. It's right near that tendon in the elbow.
Well, there's no doubt that Peter Ladd is the big man out at bullpen for Harvey Keene these days. Ball 1 on Tommy Herr. There's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs, 2 on. 6-0. Milwaukee leading, bottom of the 8th. Cardinals an entirely different ball club when they have to play station to station. Hit a ball, stop at second, hit a ball, stop at third. They like to hit and keep making left turns.
And there have been more balls in this inning hit in the air to the outfield than any other inning previous to this.
There's another one, but Charlie Moore is there. And Charlie Moore is going to take care of the Cardinals in the bottom of the 8th. 2 base hits, 2 men left. But Mike Caldwell is the man of the hour as we complete 8 innings of play. It's the Milwaukee Brewers 6, the Cardinals nothing.
Right now, the one thing you want most is an opportunity.
All that you can be. Oh, yeah. Keep on reaching. Keep on growing. Be all that you can be. 'Cause we need you in the army. Be all that you can be.
You don't have to put up with hotel excuses like the maid, the TV man, or the plumber is gone for the day. Because Holiday Inn gives you this no excuses guarantee. Everything in your room will be right, or we'll make it right. No excuses. Or that night, you stay free. You don't get this guarantee from any other hotel chain. Not one. So, let us take care of you. Holiday Inn gives you a guarantee, not excuses.
Right Guard knows a man needs all the protection he can get. Right Guard antiperspirant has an action-triggered formula. Triggered to release protection when your body needs it most. So the more protection you need, the more you get. Action-triggered Right Guard helps keep you dry and odor-free all day. Right Guard sprays solid and roll-on. The more protection you need, the more protection you get.
This USBA title bout will be a brawl. Frank the Animal Fletcher takes on James Hard Rock Green. The styles hard-hitting and relentless. The impact guaranteed. Plus, Gentle Giants share their ancient traditions. On NBC Sports World, it's a World Series weekend.
Well, Mike Caldwell has been a big story here in St. Louis as Milwaukee's leading 6-0. And Tony, tomorrow they got Sutton going.
Sutton, a youngster, John Stupper, a pretty hard thrower.
Hey, it's been fun to be with you guys. You were in the 46 series. You've done about 20 of these, and you were in seven series, weren't you, with the Yankees?
6. I missed one in this town with a little.
Oh, that's right. I almost missed another with a throw.
Were you nervous tonight?
I really
they
was.
Always ask
I
you.
really was. But happy to be nervous.
So 6-0. The Milwaukee Brewers leading the Cardinals here in the top of the 9th. Ted Simmons, who's had a big night, takes a first pitch. It's a strike. Simmons hit a home run in the 5th inning. He singled in the 7th. He struck out in the 1st, popped out in the 2nd. He is 2 for 4. High fly ball, shallow center field. Green comes in, should have no problem. 1 out.
Well, if you're going to write the book on the Brewers, one of the primary things that a scout would say is, and we talked about it earlier, you keep the first and second men off base, Molitor and Yount. They have not done it tonight, this pitching staff for the Cardinals. They've been on, what, 8 times?
What a road record. Look at that, 47 and 33. Tony, when you look at Molitor, Yount, and Cooper, they all got over 200 hits. That's over, with the base on balls, 700 times they've been on base. That's a lot of times. You can see why the Oglevy's and Thomas and Simmons get the RBI totals. 1 ball to count on Ben Oglevie. It is high. 2 balls and no strikes.
Now, just to pursue that point a little farther, Joe, you take the top of the order, 8 times on base for Molitor and Yount. You have to go all the way to the 6th hitter to find a man on base in the Cardinal batting order.
3 balls and no strikes, so that tells a pretty good story, but it's been Caldwell with the sinker. He's been keeping the ball in the strike zone. He's only walked 1 man.
And after Sutton and Stuper tomorrow, that off day Thursday, then we'll go to Milwaukee County Stadium. It'll be Andujar versus Vukovic.
Walked him.
Joe, while we got a chance, we want to wish our best. Bud Selig, the man who brought Milwaukee back to baseball back to Milwaukee. His mom in a fall, apparently coming to the game tonight, Marie Selig, suffered, I guess, I don't know if it's a broken hip, but she was taken by Bud to the hospital. It's a Jewish hospital here in St. Louis, and she thinks she's going to be watching the game. We hope she's able to watch the game. Dr. Paul Jacobs, the team physician, may be still with her. So we wish you the best, Mrs. Selig. Sorry you couldn't be here in person.
Sure do.
She has sweat as much for this ball club as his Bud, I'll guarantee you.
Bud, I'll tell you something. He banged his hand into the wall, didn't know it was bleeding until somebody told him. It's been a long dry spell for him. Happy days, and we do wish her well. Tapped on the third base line. He can't run. Here's the throw. It is in time. Gorman Thomas is out. Oberkfeller, Hernandez, and it was the gimpy leg, and Gorman thought it was 3 outs. He was ready to head for the outfield. Now he makes the turn back.
Well, that's frustrating. He knew he would have had a base hit on a healthy leg.
Oberkfeller playing him very deeply, probably a few steps more because of the injured knee. Those are the things that appear in scouting reports that help you out just a little bit, give you that little bit of an edge.
Don Money, the batter. Strike 1. He came on in the 7th inning, pinch hitting for Howe, and hit one in the gap that George Hendrick ran down. Check swing, foul ball, strike 2. As we look ahead, the bottom of the 9th inning, it'll be Lonnie Smith, Hernandez, and Hendrick for the Cardinals.
And it's a long way back, 6 down for a Cardinal team that does not hit many home runs, as Dick told you earlier. Lowest total in the major leagues.
Hot smash. Smith can't get it. Base runner Oglevie coming around. He'll score, and it's 7-0 Milwaukee.
Joe, as we see these balls during this ball game today, just getting out of the reach of Ozzie Smith, who covers probably as much ground as anybody at short in baseball, you wonder if the slight edge of not knowing the Brewers hitters is just costing him that one step where he can't get to a ball. He hasn't seen their swing before. Remember, these teams train in different sites in the spring, one in Arizona, one in Florida, so they don't see that much of each other. And Smith is so good at picking up the ball off the angle of the bat and anticipating, and he's come just that close to how many today? 4, 5? He just misses this.
So we've got a break in the action here. Milwaukee now leading 7-0. We'll be right back after these messages.
I've been hearing the so-called sports expert talk about his realistic home video baseball game. Well, I've played real baseball. And I also played the new Atari Real Sports Baseball, and I like it. Because I can sacrifice fly, as well as steal, pick off runners. Hey, it's baseball like baseball should be played. And who are you going to listen to anyhow? That other guy who just talks baseball? Or a nice guy like me who lives it?
New Real Sports Baseball, one in a series only from Atari. In the world of action watches. Trust Seiko for advanced dual display technology even 300 feet beneath the sea. Trust Seiko for timepieces that display any of 6 functions with a turn of a bezel. For alarm chronographs that even measure your pulse rate. For the world's most advanced technology, people trust Seiko more than any other watch. Get the best of Seiko watches, the best of Seiko clocks, only where you see this sign.
Jeff Lottie is the new pitcher for the Cardinals. Came over from Cincinnati, so let's get a teammate's view from Tom Seaver.
Well, Joe, he came over from the Reds to the Redbirds over here, and has done a good job for them. He's got a sinker and a slider, and he throws harder than he appears on the mound. And one thing this might do in a game which is 7-0 already, give this young man some experience, which Whitey might be able to utilize later in the World Series.
First pitch is hit over his head, and they do not get him. Tommy Herr barehanded the ball, but Charlie Moore beats it out. He's got his second base hit.
Once again, it appears that the Brewers' speed and Charlie Moore, an ex-catcher, does run very well. So again, we're back to will the Cardinals adjust on this turf as it goes along and bring their middle infielders in a little more closely. This is a nice try. This kid is so good. I think that the best double play combination in baseball right now, those two guys right out there. When Herr has his mobility, he's had some knee problems lately.
Gantner fouls off the first pitch, strike 1. Commissioner Bowie Kuhn, wife Louisa, man in the cap, Happy Chandler, recently put into the Hall of Fame.
Say there's a man sitting in the back, Dr. Bob Smith, is president of the U.S. Baseball Federation and the International Federation. They're pushing very hard to get baseball as a sport in the Olympics. Still may be a sport. It's experimental in '84. They still may become a gold medal sport. '88, chances are very good. Well, 77 countries now playing baseball with the auspices of that federation by Dr. Smith.
Base runners. Money's on at second. Moore's on at first. 2 outs. Full foul by Gantner. Count remains at strike 2. Tommy Herr, to get back to him, Tony, you talk about him so much, was signed as a free agent by Tim Thompson. Just like a walk-on almost. And he's a big 6-footer, 175-pounder. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now Hernandez wasn't picked till like the 42nd round, and Oberkfell was just picked off the sandlots too. It's really an outstanding infield that primarily has been found by some good scouts who said, hey, I think this kid someday can make it to the bigs.
The men are the backbone of any organization. They beat those Bushes.
There's no strategy going on there. I think they just switched signs, and Porter wanted to make sure that young Lottie was clear in his own mind. Tough enough to try to get somebody out when you're not sure what you're throwing. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Full foul. Count remains at 1 and 2.
Little unfinished business because of the modesty of our colleague here, Tony. Only one other time in World Series history have we had players get 4 hits, more than one player get 4 hits in a game. We have 2 today. Molitor and Young tonight, each with 4 hits. Back in 1946, the Cardinals and the Red Sox, Moses, Slaughter, Karowski, and Garagiola had 4 hits in the same game.
There's a base hit to center field. Thank you, Dickin. Wow. My kids will be proud of me. Here comes 1 run in. Here comes another run in. Gantner is digging hard. He ends up at third base. There's that gapper we were talking about. Seaver was talking about it way before the game started.
And you're looking at a number 9 hitter who hit .295 during the course of the year. And that number 9 hitter with the DH in the American League becomes very important because he kind of completes the cycle. Some instances he becomes that leadoff hitter at the end, and that is the reason that Molitor and Yount, hitting 1 and 2, have been able to drive in so many runs this year, because you've got a Gander down at the bottom of the lineup getting on base so often.
Well, even with the speed of David Green, you can see that's an ordinary single on a grass turf, but it just rolls and rolls, and Green's speed couldn't shag it down cleanly. Triple.
Foul tip. Strike 1.
There are some people beginning to leave. Here in St. Louis, bunch empty seats down in the lower box seats. Somewhat unusual for game number 1 of a World Series.
Smith knocks it down. He's up. Here's the throw. It is not in time. Just missed him. Base hit. 1 more run scores. That's a 5th base hit. And it's a 10-0 ball game.
So the team that was supposed to have the speed, the matchup speed against power into this World Series, we have seen the speed of the Brewers one more time, just beating the ball out. Again, there may be some adjustments made as this series goes on.
And that's a World Series record.
And it is. 5 hits in 1 game, a new record. 5 singles, 1 run scored. Yount takes the strike. Yount has 4 base hits. We've just seen a record set. He may just tie it with a base hit here if he gets it. As Harvey's wall bangers are banging it all over the place. Two strikes to count on Yount. 5 singles is a record. Well, the writers had a little fun calling them Harvey's wallflowers when they weren't winning. Not tonight. They came to the dance and stayed. Yount down the third base line, a foul ball.
Well, just out of curiosity, something very interesting must have happened to keep you out of the record book with a 5. You got 4 hits. Did you just not get up the 5th time? What did you do the other time?
Got up, hit a vicious line drive.
Where?
I would have pinch hit for you first.
No, I just fouled out.
The wall bangers have put 17 hits on the board. 10 runs.
A lot of crooked numbers up there. 10-0, and Caldwell has a 3-hitter going. Fastball. Yount takes a strike that ends the inning. So it's 10-0 as we go into the bottom of the 9th, and here are the pitchers who have really had to take this beating. Forsch, Cott, LaPointe, and now Lottie.
My American friends introduced me to my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. Now I'm introducing them to my favorite food. With nachos, the best thing about light is it tastes great.
Not bad.
With enchiladas, the best thing is it's got a third less calories than the regular beer. With burritos, the best thing is it's less filling.
Carlos, what's this?
And with jalapeno peppers, the best thing about light is it's cold.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer, and less.
Jackie Stewart, consultant to the Ford Motor Company.
It takes a lot of energy for your car or engine to push a bad aerodynamic shape ahead. On the other hand, if you do that, it's a very clean shape and your hand slides through the air very easily, saving a lot of energy. At the same time, a good aerodynamic shape in a car presses the car onto the road, makes it more sure-footed, gives you better grip and adhesion. Basically, that's what aerodynamics are. Someday, all cars will have it. Ford has it now.
Following our telecast of this opening game of the 1982 World Series, your local news around the country, and then the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, and the Late Night Show with David Letterman, and then NBC News Overnight. And we hope you'll be with us again tomorrow night for Game 2 here from Busch Stadium, St. Louis. It'll be John Stuper, the young right-hander for the Cardinals, and veteran Don Sutton, acquired from Houston late in the season for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, living in Arizona, I got to say that they'll be seen at their regular time, except on the Pacific Coast and the Mountain Time zones, because we sit home in there in Phoenix, and we now I understand what I've been saying for all these years. Look at those numbers: 10 runs, 17 hits, no errors for Milwaukee, no runs, 3 hits and 1 error for St. Louis. That's the formula. A lot of hitting and great pitching. It's inside, and it's ball 1 to Lonnie Smith.
Sometimes the irony of this game really gets to you, doesn't it? Here is a team, the Cardinals, winning in 3, the National League pennant. This ball club, the Brewers, pushed to 5. Cardinals pitching staff, August, September, has been excellent through the league championship series. They had a chance to set it up. The pitching staff didn't appear to be tired. Brewers pitching staff's been extended, and they come and get a game like this from Caldwell. You figured out.
How about the MVP, guys? Is
there
it Caldwell or is it Molitor with the hits? Yount? Simmons with home runs?
Can we split it? Caldwell and the record with 5 base hits for Molitor? I'm splitting my vote.
1-0 would have won it. I'm
Give me
going
a
for
vote.
Caldwell.
Give me a vote.
I'll take Caldwell. He would have won with 1 run, apparently.
Fly ball on the right field line. Charlie Moore drifting near the stand. It was fair ball. It was a fair ball, but he made the play, so it's 1 out. I'm giving it to Caldwell, Tony. So tonight's NBC Miller High Life player of the game is Caldwell. Miller High Life happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Caldwell to the Special Olympics. Mike Caldwell is our MVP. 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth, 10-0. Milwaukee leading. Caldwell a 3-hitter, and he has really been in control of this game. Bouncing ball. Gantner to Cooper. There are 2 outs and another ground ball.
That's ground ball number 12. He had a streak in the 8th and the first inning in the 9th where he actually got 4 outs by his right fielder Moore. So apparently he's getting the ball up, or was through that stretch.
7 ground ball assists for Gantner. He's kept warm.
So the Cardinals can start thinking about tomorrow and going to Milwaukee with a split.
Maybe down by 2.
Yeah, that's what they're shooting for, to get that game tomorrow now.
You know, fouls off the first pitch, strike 1.
George, you look at these two teams, and if you say there's one team that has a possibility of sweeping 4, and I'm not saying it's going to happen or wishing for it, but it would be Milwaukee, I think, over the Cardinals, because they are just so darn explosive. Those bats can get hot, and they haven't been hot for 3 weeks. But when they start hitting as a team, it gets contagious, as it has tonight.
They've put 17 hits on the board with 10 runs. 1 ball and 1 strike to count on Henrik. Roll foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 53,723.
May I have your attention, please? Will you please remove the banner from the left field bleachers?
And a lot of the folks have gone home early. That's the Cardinal bench. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Sam Simplizio, a part-time coach. Albano is also there. Don Sutton, 4-1. The man who really saved the division and maybe the pennant for the Brewers. A great Harry Dalton trade or move.
Foul territory. Cooper makes the play. That's the ball game. And the Milwaukee Brewers, and here they come out of the dugout en masse to congratulate Caldwell, who put on quite a performance. 10-0 Milwaukee over the St. Louis Cardinals. And game 1 of the 1982 World Series has been brought to you by Atari, the leader in home video games for fun your whole family can share. By Gillette, makers of Right Guard. A man works hard, but Right Guard works harder. By Light Beer from Miller, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? So again, the final score, Milwaukee 10, St. Louis nothing. Caldwell, a 3-hitter all the way. The loser was Forsch. Molitor, 5 hits for a record. Remember, tomorrow night, NBC Sports continues great coverage of the World Series with Game 2, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Now, stay tuned for the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, following your local news except for the West Coast, where it'll be seen at its regular time right here on NBC. Final score, Milwaukee 10, St. Louis nothing.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. We serve more of this land's top 100 business centers than any other airline. Fly the friendly skies.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by Hilton. When American business hits the road, American business stops at Hilton, America's business address.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television.